enough of that. I wanted to talk about the video that apparently made Ethan so pissed that he felt the need to write like a full-blown essay. Ethan Klein, who was more than happy to heap praise on Psychology in Seattle when he believed he had the complete support, has now, of course, turned on him at the slightest bit of criticism. Ethan viewers have also been brigading the comments of his video on the subject. Holy essay, dude. Oh my God. Dear Doctor, at Psychology in Seattle, I have respect for you and your expertise and appreciate everything you've spoken about. However, I find your new video about me to be extremely unprofessional, especially without talking with me first. You are participating in a bad faith attack on my character as presented by one side who is currently engaging in that harassment campaign. You have one side of that story, but engage confidently in damaging speculation about my character. ChatGPT essay, yeah, it's bad. I blame Ian for putting you in the middle of a highly contentious dispute. That was extremely unfair of him. Did Ian ever once tell you that his friend I'm upset with is likely responsible for CPS visiting my house? He has no evidence for this claim, by the way. His evidence for this claim is my entire chat being less than 7% over the course of thousands of messages. 65, most of which are like, why do they have so many dogs that they don't take care of? And all of them, almost all of them, were in the section where I play a section straight from his VOD. I literally just play his podcast where he talks about poop. Did he tell you that the majority of clips he used of me is from an episode entitled CPS Came to My House the Morning of the Visit? It's unfair that Ian put you in this position, but I also find your video to be irresponsible and unethical. Can we watch the video? Yeah. We're going to watch it. I just wanted to read what he said. It's unfair that Ian put you in this position. Okay, yeah. And then, at the heart of this harassment campaign is the dismissal of my feelings as a result of me being mentally unwell. I've been continually vulnerable about my struggle with mental health, and to see it weaponized by such a supposed friend.
Check it out, Golden Kappa Train DNMO.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you so much for the 5 gifts of Neko Leash. Thank you guys. To see it weaponized by a supposed friend who I once confided in about my mental health with the aid of, albeit unknowingly, a licensed psychologist. Did you not find it odd that someone flew to you for the express purpose of recording you analyzing another public figure that you've never met or spoken with? Someone this person clearly is contentious with. You are a good man with good intentions, but in this you have done wrong. I'll explain this in very, very, very simple terms, chat. The reason why Ian went over to Psychology in Seattle is because he thought that Ethan Klein would listen to Psychology in Seattle. That's it. He knew that he wasn't going to listen to himself. He knew Ethan would never listen to iDubbz. He knew that wasn't going to happen. And he thought maybe this guy who he respects, maybe he'd be more willing to listen to this guy. That's it. It's very simple. Now, I saw this post before we watched the video, because apparently I guess somebody did all hail reposters. Someone reposted the video from Kirk Honda. But before we do that, I wanted to see some highlights that were in here. He's blaming the psychologist. Yeah, he's blaming the psychologist. But in response to the content cop, he made he addressed some of the things that iDubbz said. Dr. Honda agrees with Ian that Ethan is in a dark place, expands on the need a hug take. And then there was this one. He reads off text showing that he was actually Ian's inspiration for including the testimonies. And Noah Sampson, after refusing to change the grading of Ethan Klein's apology.
I don't know if I've mentioned this already, but I asked him if I hadn't responded the way that I had, how would the video have ended differently? And he said, oh, absolutely. In fact, what did he say here? And again, he's cool with me saying all this stuff. I've asked him. I was texting him saying, I had no idea how important I was to the ending of your content cop video. If I had known, I would have been more careful in the way that I refused to change my grade. And then Ian replied and said, you play a really important role in the video. It made me rethink the whole ending, to be honest. And it led to me deciding to get those creators to send me nice comments. So I feel good about that because I like the way it ended, absolutely. But I feel bad about inconveniencing a fellow content provider in that way. So anyway.
Doctor wrote a message he pinned in his comment section after speaking with Ethan and before deleting the video. Do you have a link to it, Silver? I'll keep your messages if you have a link for it. I'd love to see the chat message with the thing that he pinned right before it got taken down. Empty space, thank you for the biddies. Kirk, thank you for the gift sub. He seems like an alright guy. I mean, this guy, like, there are people who care about educating and literature, and they're like purists on intellectualism, which I respect the shit out of. Like, they're not there to farm content. They're not there to milk content, right? They want to make videos that people can learn from. He's a very genuine person. I mean, I had a lot of these professors when I went to college where they just, again, maybe a little dry, but they don't care about being dry. Yeah, they just, they're not trying to get caught up deep into the sauce, okay? They just want to give their insight on these things that they've read a lot about. They care a lot about the subjects that they talk about. They're very informed on the subjects that they talk about, and they're not trying to sensationalize anything. And the fact that they're taking this guy and they're like threatening to report him to the Washington Medical Commission, it's like, yeah, here's like literally comments directly from Ethan Klein's audience talking about reporting this guy for making a video which I'm sure the video will be very damning, right? I'm sure that the video will be scathing, right? Let's watch it, right? Did they not get tired of being insufferable? I guess not, dude.
Hey, deserving listeners. So I was recently in an iDubbz content cop video, as some of you know.
I do want to finish this today, so we're going to put it on 1.25, which should be just barely fast enough.
And I wanted to make a follow-up video of my own. But first, I thought we would watch a little clip of the interview that Ian actually pulled from to include in his content cop video.
Are you in pain? Are you remembering the pain of what was hurting at that time? What is the pain?
I think just being like super lost and not feeling.
Wait, before we see that, this was the pinned message before the video went down. I appreciate all the feedback. I apologize directly to Ethan for using language that could reasonably be interpreted as me calling him crazy. We had a long exchange today. We're good. I encourage everyone to have empathy for all those involved. Yeah. All right, let's get back to the...
I don't think I have any control over anything. But I will say that Anissa was like my only amount of like stability during that.
Also, sorry, Joel, thank you for the gifts to Thaddeus. Thank you. And to Silver. Thank you. Thank you.
So like that kind of helped me in a way.
Yeah.
Because she was very, I mean, she was experiencing it too, but I think she was much more grounded, like leading into it. So, you know, I also see the dynamic of Ethan and Neela. I'm like, fuck, like, it's just really, it's really hard to be, a couple online and see people attacking your partner. And it's like, okay, like if you come to their defense, that doesn't always help them, right? Sometimes that makes it worse for them. So I'm seeing Ethan go through a lot of that. Ethan and Neela.
Okay, so
I'm going to be honest, this tweet kind of ate like crazy. Anissa got herself a high-value man. The way iDubbz has always defended her, never backed down, and even cried to his therapist over her as high-value energy. He loves her unconditionally at that. Defended her when Ethan and Neela went after her, knowing damn well she's Lebanese. Not wrong, dude. They're straight spitting. They're straight spitting. Also, can I just say this chatter? I feel so bad. This chatter is this poor normie chatter. I love you. You know, I'm glad you're here. Because you're very clearly just like a normal person, just hanging out and stuff on the internet. And we're all pretty internet brained, so I hope you enjoy your time here. I'm so sorry that you didn't know that the 88 is a Nazi thing. Because you mentioned it before. Why are people quoting the 88? Am I missing something? Is it that I'm too old? What is with this chat and me being born in 88? Is it because I'm old and it seems creepy? Well, holy shit, thanks for explaining. I'll change my handle, but it's my username at my job and literally everywhere. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry that you didn't know about this. Yeah. But I appreciate you being here, you know? I appreciate you being willing to ask and, you know, you're just a normal dude. You're just a normal dude hanging out in the world, and the world's a wacky place, and the internet's a wacky place. Yeah, dude, racists fucking ruin everything. They fucking ruin everything. But, okay. Back to the, wait, was there something I was going to say about this? I'm glad Ian put that part of the video in. I'm not even going to lie, guys. There are a lot of people who I've talked about before, and I feel like it's unfair to keep talking about them because they've tried really hard to, I don't want to say like stay out of it, but they've tried really hard to make amends and not engage further. And I don't think it's fair to keep dogging on those people, so I don't. Because I do feel bad. And like, even with Ethan Klein, like watching him get sad about the video, the content cop being about him, like I actually, like I felt that. Because I, like any normal person that experiences empathy, like I see that and I'm like, oh, dude, well, that must feel like, feel is the key word here, like such a betrayal, right? And I felt sad. And like yesterday, I'm not joking, guys. Yesterday after I was done hanging out at this fantasy themed birthday party, I was having such a great time and I was on like cloud 9. I was having so much fun. And on the drive home, I was thinking about Ethan and I was like, dude, I like got sad thinking about it. I was like, this poor guy is probably sitting there like scrolling his phone, scrolling through Twitter, scrolling through Instagram comments, scrolling through hate comments. And he's losing subscribers, and he's losing viewers, and he's losing friends. And he's like not having fun, and he's posting Instagram stories like he's spending his fucking free time writing these essays. And I realized like how lucky I was that I have friends and I have hobbies. And for the past 2 days, both nights, my biggest struggle is like, oh, I'm sorry, I have to leave this. I'm having so much fun, but I have to leave early. I have to stream tomorrow. Oh, but this is so much fun. I want to go. I'm sorry, I have to leave a little early. And I'm just like sitting there smiling on this fucking car ride home. Like, that was so much fun. My friends are so cool. We're going to go to Ren Fair next weekend. It's going to be so much fun. Maybe I'll go to Ren Fair with some other people next weekend. Chat's so great. It's been such a good, like, month for growth and stuff. And then I thought about Ethan and I was like, this is like, I'm feeling sad for him that he's choosing to take such a stupid fucking path, that he's choosing to be this like terrible person, that he can make it stop at any moment. It's the trolley problem meme. You can stop at any moment and you're just choosing not to. And you're just like, nope, we have to cause as much suffering, even if I have to suffer in the process, as long as everybody else is suffering too. It's like, Jesus. Ugh, man. Yeah, I had an empath moment. I felt bad. And then I remember that, like, the shit that he says and the terrible stuff that he's done. And I'm like, and the fact that he refused it. Dude, I was thinking about it. There's a content brain in me. I was thinking about it. I was like, what could he have done in response to Ian's video? I think because his reaction was so genuine on Wednesday, he could have easily ended the stream on Wednesday like he did, and then came back on Friday and said, guys, I've thought a lot about what Ian said. I've thought a lot about what Psychology in Seattle said. And I think this has gone on for too long. And I'm going to be honest, I think all of these people that I've criticized, I stand by my criticism of them, and I think that they've been unbelievably unfair to me. I think that they have been harassing me, and they've been awful. But I also think that I've been awful. And so I am I want to propose a ceasefire with all of these content creators. Okay? And he could have fucking farmed this content for a week. And he could have been like, he could have done a stream on Monday and been like, Sean, let's get on. Let's break this bread. All right? I'm sorry for the stuff that I've said to you. You know, what has upset you that I've said to you? Tell me. All right. From here on out, you know, like, I won't go after you. You won't go after me. We're good. And then on like Tuesday, he could have brought like Mike from PA on and been like, you know, man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was like making fun of you. I'm sorry I'm doing this. I get it. You're a principled man. I am too. I don't want to go back and forth anymore. I don't want to. This is so stupid. This is so dumb. We won't make fun of you on our show anymore. You don't make fun of us anymore. Great. On like Wednesday, brings Frogan on, you know, apologizes. They go back and forth. Thursday brings me on. Hey, you know, like, I was really hurt by the fact that you said what you said about me. And you're like painting me out to be this person that's awful. And I get it. I've done some stuff to you, but like, and I think he has a good case against me. He could say like, but yeah, sure. Okay, listen, I apologize for claiming that you did the CPS call when obviously you didn't. And I know that you didn't. But why would you recast that video of me talking about poop? Obviously, it was a fuck up on my part. Why are you broadcasting it to everybody else? That's so mean. And I would be like, you're right. It was mean. It was mean. But this was after you had already gotten me banned for 30 days, man. Like, what am I supposed to think? I'm just supposed to take it lying down. I'm just supposed to, you know, turn the other cheek. It's not like, obviously there's a back and forth here. All right, cool. We break our bread. Not going to attack you anymore. You don't attack me anymore. Great. And then like he brings Ian on and they sort out their issues. And on the last day, and this is content for like 2 weeks straight, I'm telling you. And then on the last day, he brings Hassan on and then they finally make peace. That, you know, like, I'm sorry. Again, this is like your manager speaking, Ethan. It is such easy content and you would get what you want. And guess what? Anyone who refuses to get on your show, you can call them an unsympathetic bastard, a piece of shit. You can say that you can see, okay, obviously I was willing to put aside my issues. I was willing to apologize for the stuff I've done. And you weren't even willing to get on the show and talk about it. You're the spiteful person. I was willing to put it all behind. And it's like he would have had the moral high ground there. That if he was just capable of letting go of his ego for 2 seconds, this would have been the time. And I think this is going to be the only opportunity he gets for like ages now. This would have been the time to finally stop all of this from happening. It would have been the time, and his viewership would have been so up because it would have been so crazy. It would have been out of like left field. And the harassment would stop because we would be forced as content creators to make sure that nobody in our communities is doing it. Not that, I mean, like I said before, I can't even get you guys to vote in a poll in Twitch chat. I'll put a poll up of like, hey, do you guys want to watch this or this? And like 2 people vote. And I'm like, there's literally thousands of you. I don't understand how this poll only has 50 people in it. It's been up for 15 minutes. How is this possible? So already, you know, it's not like you guys are going to be getting mobilized to do any of this shit. I haven't seen a single comment like this on one of his videos, ever. People don't mobilize here and go somewhere else and go to the Reddit, go to his Reddit, or go to his YouTube or whatever. Like that just doesn't happen. Where they're like threatening to like report or whatever. But that would have been so like, again, not to be content brain, but content brain. Like the fact that he could have easily used this as an opportunity to finally rehabilitate his image. And it would have been a win-win. It would have been such a huge win. He would have won completely. Because what do you say to that? Like, what do you say to that? Like, as like me. What, I refuse to go on the show? Then I look like a spiteful bitch. What, I refuse to apologize? Again, I look like a spiteful bitch. What if I break the ceasefire agreement and then I decide to go in on him again? Then again, I look like a spiteful bitch if I do any of those things. So you have such a high ground there. such a moral high ground if you take this path. And instead, but he's so blinded by ego. He's so blinded by his fucking rage that he can't see what would be the best thing for everybody involved. That if he actually does care about this so-called harassment campaign and he does care about winning people over, that would be the way to do it. But he doesn't, he's like, again, he's too cooked. He's too cooked. He's just literally too cooked. Anywho. I mean, he genuinely thinks that Hassan is a terrorist sympathizer. I mean, yeah, obviously. But like, the goal would be that he would put all those things aside because he wants all this to stop. And he'd be like, I apologize for calling you terrorist sympathizer. Apologize. I don't believe it anymore or whatever. Just to say, even just like on a PR front, you don't even have to believe this shit. If you actually, like, you want people to stop disliking you, because that's what all of this is about for Ethan. What it's about for him is that he's losing, and he's losing public support, and that people aren't taking his side. That he keeps claiming he wants to move on and they pull me back in, but he's not trying to actually move on. So anyways, that's all I wanted to say. I was just thinking about it and I was like, man, whew.
I wanted to use that clip as an introduction to this video. I'll show more from that interview later on. So recently I was in an iDubbz video, a content cop video, the first content cop video that he has published in 7 years. In this video, iDubbz goes after Ethan Klein. The video, of course, has millions of views. Everyone is talking about it on the internet right now. And I have heard from a lot of you saying that you're worried about me because you know about the toxicity of these kinds of dramas, and this drama specifically, and the larger drama about the war in Gaza. And along these lines, the online assholes have already showed up in my inbox, of course. I knew that this would happen. And I wasn't planning on doing this, but I thought that I would provide a little video here describing my involvement in the video. So first off, if you're new to this channel...
I mean, I disagree with it. Yeah, like all of this is... I don't want to get too lost in the sauce because unlike Ethan, I don't want to be pausing every fucking 5 seconds, but...
My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I have been a therapist and a professor since around 1997, and I started this podcast, Psychology in Seattle, in 2008, 17 years ago. And I have been making all sorts of content, psychology related. So I thought the best way to explain my involvement in iDubbz Content Cop video was to give a brief summary of the chronology up until this point. So I took some notes here. Back in May of 2023, so 2 years ago, many people were asking me to analyze an apology video by iDubbz. I only knew iDubbz from Creator Clash, which was the year prior. So I didn't know what he would be apologizing for because I didn't know what he was known for, what he had published prior. So I watched his apology video and analyzed it, and I gave him a B. And to my surprise, he commented on the video, which was interesting because that doesn't usually happen. And I came to learn that he and his wife, Anissa, have been fans of my channel. Then about a year later, in February of 2024, so about a year ago, Stacy and I, my wife, we were at a breakfast joint here in Seattle. And Ian and Anissa, if you don't know, iDubbz, his name is Ian. Ian and his wife, Anissa, approached our table because they saw us walk in. We connected and started talking about being on each other's podcast. And then we started to chat more off air and text each other and stuff. And I would watch one of his unboxing videos and laugh, and I would text him and say, that was a funny bit there or whatever. And I, over time, started to learn more about their lives. Even on...
How far in are we? We're only 5 minutes in.
The podcast, we talked about their lives and the history of their childhood and their families, and also what they went through regarding the recent cancellation or internet drama that they had been going through. And it might surprise many of you that Ian, off air, is very soft-spoken. He's a really good listener, actually, as well. In fact, my wife only knows Ian through meeting him in person. And when she saw the Content Cop video, the one here with Ethan, my wife was actually surprised at how brazen and how outspoken he is in the video. The other thing that is notable is that it was pretty clear to me that he deeply regretted what he had done before online.
I will say, I think that there are these are broad categories, and obviously people do listening and talking, but There are listeners and there are talkers. There are yappers and there are listeners. And I'm a yapper. I am a yapper, I'll admit. I'm a yapper on stream and off stream, it's true. But Ian is not a yapper. He is a listener. Which is, I think, also why Content Cop, or like his content has always been good, because usually the people I feel like who aren't constantly yapping, when they do want to say stuff, they want to try and organize it in a way that is succinct, and they want to try and talk about something that's actually important to them. But yeah, he is a huge, he's not a yapper. He is not a yapper. Yeah. Really cool, really chill guy, though. Really.
That he knew now just how bigoted and toxic and hurtful it was. I'll never forget him telling me a story. I don't know if it was on the air or not, but he was at a public event of some sort, and one of his fans approached him and said, "Look, I know you don't like my people," meaning trans, "but I'm a big fan, so can you sign this?" or something like that. And in that moment, Ian just, his heart broke and sunk and was hurting, because he thought, oh, this is a human being. This is someone, and they're a fan. They know that I don't like them just because they're trans. Like, there's something terribly wrong with my career at this point. And that had been a buildup. He had started to notice the way that the internet was, or the way his fans were, or the monster that he had created online because his fans were going after people, that kind of thing. And so he started to seriously question what he was doing. And so he started to not make that kind of content anymore. But he wasn't being vocal about his change of heart. And he was investigating it even further, through therapy, self-reflection, talking to his wife, experiencing the kind of bullying that she went through and the kind of toxicity that she was experiencing. And then he was starting to think, am I a part of that online bullying? About I'm watching someone that I love go through that bullying. Am I one of those bullies? Not to Anissa, but to is there another Anissa out there that I've been attacking? And having that empathy, right? When people exhibit lack of empathy, usually it's because they haven't been given an opportunity to understand what other people are going through. When you understand what other people are going through, it gives you an opportunity to have your natural empathy engaged, and that's what happened for him. Now, I want to say that a lot of you actually
Sorry, I was muted. I was eating some snacks. I didn't want to munch into the mic. Just a reminder, now that we're about 8 minutes in, this is the video that people are saying, this is disgusting behavior from a doctor. I was borderline considering reporting this to the Washington Medical Commission.
Has cap.
One of the most fair people. Who knows? Maybe midway through the video, he's like, everybody, let's show up to Ethan's house. Me, a psychologist from Seattle, thinks that it's good if we do. Like, who knows? Let's find out what happens. Let's see. Maybe he makes a sharp 180 midway through.
He reached out to me when I started to collaborate with iDubbz, telling me that I should not be collaborating with him because of the things that he has done. And those kinds of conversations are important. And if I were to blanketly endorse everything that he had done in the past, then that would be horrible of me, actually. But a lot of things are exhibited and playing out in my relationship with iDubbz. One is that just on a personal level, I can relate to the online hate that he and Anissa received. I have only experienced 1% of that, but even that 1% was very hard to deal with emotionally. And when I would reach out to other content providers, they would almost always say things like, well, you just have to have a thick skin. And I thought, okay, I need to have a thick skin. Well, that didn't work for me. And I began to wonder if a lot of people were saying you have to have a thick skin because they didn't know what else to say or do, and that a lot of people were suffering. And then recently, over the last couple of years, I saw a lot of YouTubers with millions of subscribers closing shop and not making videos anymore, because I think, and they would say sometimes, that it was because of their fans, even the way that they talk to the content provider. So I started to wonder if I might actually have to figure this out on my own, and that other content providers don't have an approach or a system or any sort of wisdom about how to cope with this. And I thought,
this is the other reason that a lot of, in my opinion, I think a big reason why a lot of content creators wanted to participate in an event like Creators for Palestine because it's a way to clean up the trash from your audience, right? The type of people that think that, how dare you support Hamas by, checks notes, fundraising for the people in Gaza. That you have to stand for, even if you make funny content, funny meme videos on the internet, even if all you do is just, you know, like, here's this TikTok trend where people drink water or whatever. I don't know, fuck it. You know the YouTubers I'm talking about. I love their content. That's my favorite type of slob. But like, you have to take a stand at some point. Otherwise, your audience can just accidentally become filled with terrible people. So when you participate in things like that, sorry, it's like pretzel. It's a way to signal to your audience, hey, just so you know, this is where I stand on this. If you don't fuck with this, leave. If you don't fuck with like me trying to help raise money for Creators for Palestine, leave. I'm the wrong person for you. Even if the majority of your content is one thing or another thing, or, you know, like this niche fucking category on the internet, you still have to stand for something once in a while, because you will, it's the Nazi bar thing, right? It's the, you let a Nazi into the bar, you're like, oh, whatever. Suddenly there's 2, suddenly there's 3, suddenly there's 4, and suddenly you have a fucking Nazi bar. You have to have a no tolerance policy. You have to be clear on these things. It doesn't mean that you're running a fucking political bar, right? It's that this is something that I'm not going to fold on. This is a position I'm not going to change on because it's one that is inherently anti-bigotry. Yeah. No tolerance for the intolerance? Mm-hmm.
Well, I've been through a lot of therapy myself. As a profession and as a professor and as a content provider, it's important that I at least try to understand our psychology and our experience and how to deal with things. And there's some parallels to being a professor and a therapist. And so I have my own approach. And so to see someone else go through this and to have them experience the fallout, even if I might say he deserved to have some fallout from what he put out there into the world for a number of years, the feelings and the experiences, I think, are not only personally interesting to me, but I feel like I want to provide a way of talking about this, because there's this notion out there.
He only has one shirt just like me. He's just like me for real.
That you will hear a lot of people say.
You just recorded the video after this one. Stop.
That, well, they're famous, so then the gloves can come off, right? They know what they're getting into. Or they're rich and famous, so it doesn't matter if we bully them or hurt them or try to attack them. You know, they're a public figure. They know what they signed up for. And what I would say to that is, just because someone's a public figure, then you can be a psychopath? No. And there's a lot of pain and loneliness in the world, and people are trying to cope with it in a variety of ways. And one of the ways that we've known about even before the internet is through social comparison and bullying. When you are on the playground and you see a bully, everyone understands that that bully is not dealing with emotions well, that they are not confident, that they are not secure, that probably bad things are happening at home, right? Well, a lot of people have bad things that have happened in their past and present, and they go online and they take it out on other people. And it's understood among society that it's completely okay to unrelentingly bully a public figure, even if they're just a public figure on YouTube, right? So that kind of thinking needs to change, which, you know, it makes sense that society doesn't really understand that yet. The internet is relatively new. Content providers and their feelings are relatively new, that sort of thing. So there's that. The other reason why
I think like the one exception to this rule is the people who are like exposed to be like whatever, like sexual predators on the internet, like those people should be bullied off the internet only because they use their platform to engage in sexual abuse. Like, I'm sorry, if you're like with a YouTube account, like you should be bullied on the internet. If there's undeniable proof, police reports have been filed, there's charges against you, you should be bullied off the internet. Like, again, because you're explicitly using your power to lure in more victims. Everybody else, I mean, even, like, again, even Ethan. Like, I'm just like, I want him to stop. I want him to stop so everyone can stop, you know, responding. because it's like currently people can't stop responding because he's constantly making insane accusations against people like me. I'm sorry, I'm not going to watch someone say that I called CPS on them and say nothing. I'm not going to just sit there and be like, well, he's going through a lot. Fuck you. No. If you're going to make an accusation that serious against me, I have to respond. I'm not going to not respond. And he can he can literally stop this train at any time. He can get his podcast back on the rails of just talking about funny things. If he stopped talking about all of us, yeah, there'd probably still be people in here being like, oh, did you see Ethan said this funny thing or this cringe thing? But at that point, like, I would ignore it. It's like, okay, well, it has nothing to do with me. He's not saying like weird genocidal shit. Okay, he pressed the button. Okay, I don't really care.
Why I'm interested in all of this is because if we're
I was going to say yes and also bully powerful Republican politicians, but I just realized you already said
going to make the world a better place. And we're going to see eye to eye, understand the other side of the aisle, reach out to other groups of people to try to work together. If we're going to do that, then we have to stop interacting with other people online the way that we tend to interact with other people online. And I saw an opportunity with iDubbz, not only just for his sake, but also just for my mission to try to make the world a better place by demonstrating that through love, and I don't use that word lightly, but through love, through understanding, through, I believe, an accurate understanding of the human condition, we might actually be able to push things forward in a positive way for everybody. Because the way that people tend to react to these things is through cancellation and hatred and black and white thinking, which leads us to a lot of the ills of society today and in the past. So I saw an opportunity with iDubbz to change and reemerge as a content provider with his new paradigm of empathy and understanding other people's experiences and still providing entertainment and meaning and purpose. So I thought this would be a good example of this sort of thing because it almost never happens, right? You know, you've all heard of, or even you know someone maybe who is a bigot, right? Well, we want, obviously, that person to not be a bigot anymore. And the typical way of reacting to them is through hatred and anger and attacking that person. And maybe they deserve some of that, but that's not usually what changes the person, right? It often just makes them worse. And we have seen that in other content providers, people like Joe Rogan, for example. So if we're going to actually get what we want, what my political side wants, it has to be through love. It has to be through understanding and empathy, giving people a second chance, people who exhibit that they want a second chance. We have to give them that chance. Otherwise, no one else will repent. No one else will apologize. No one else will make that choice.
As a reminder, in response to this video, which has now been taken down, H3 fans said, "This is disgusting behavior from a doctor. I was borderline considering reporting this to the Washington Medical Commission." I have to keep highlighting this because it is insane to say this about someone being this charitable. This charitable.
That iDubbz made, which was to say, oh my God, I was a bigot. That was horrible. I apologize. I feel bad.
Woo Denims.
Denims, it's one comment. Have you actually deluded yourself into thinking that there aren't countless other comments like this? I can literally go to the H3 subreddit right now and find probably about 70 comments berating him and calling him a piece of shit and saying he's a terrible friend and how dare he speak to him and how dare he make this video. This is disgusting behavior from a professional. If you unironically think it's only one comment, I think you unironically have only one brain cell.
If we don't help someone like that, then why would anyone else do it?
He removed the video because it was too many good comments. There were just so many comments that were like, I really like this. And that's why he removed it. That's why. Famously, people take down videos because they're getting a lot of love. How do you know it's an H3 fan? the fact that they downplay Ethan's actions as he's sympathetic to Israel immediately tells me everything I need to know. Oh, do they mean like as opposed to a Sex Destiny fan? I don't think the Sex Destiny fans have enough of a stake in this game, I guess, basically. Mr. Beast, how do you have this video if it's taken down? Someone re-uploaded it. What's the difference? Are you Texas? No, I'm stupid. What's the difference?
In the future.
I mean, surely someone has that image of the crossover posting between Reddit R Destiny and Reddit RH3 Productions.
I'm really passionate about that, again, for personal reasons, but also for the greater good of society, which is the whole purpose of my career. I decided to become a therapist in large part because I wanted to make the world a better place in that way. Going back to my notes, Ian and Anissa were both being heavily bullied before, during, and after the apology. People were saying things like, iDubbz, his apology was fake. He's a grifter. He doesn't really care about anybody. He's always been a bigot. He still is a bigot. Or other people saying Anissa is like a Yoko Ono, manipulating him from behind the scenes, that Ian is pussy whipped, this kind of stuff. Or Anissa is a slut because she has an OnlyFans, and Ian is a cuck for even allowing Anissa to have an OnlyFans. If you know, you know, and it's way worse than even I'm describing it. And these aren't just random a-holes on the internet that are rare. This was the dominant discourse around the two of them. So when I was interacting with Ian and Anissa, both
again with the muting, god damn it. For some context, Anissa was one of the first women on the internet to have an OnlyFans, one of the first popular women online to have an OnlyFans. And so they love to criticize her for it, and they love to call her a whore or whatever for it for ages. But the thing that's funny now, I guess, is that she is just one of many people on there, and it's way more common, but they keep bringing it up to try and make fun of her. So it kind of like falls flat. It's like OnlyFans. It's like, dude, that term has lost all of its meaning and value as like a term for denigrating someone.
Both on their podcast, my podcast, and off microphone, I noticed that.
Yeah, meanwhile, Asman only dates OnlyFans model, and yet the internet stays silent.
Ian was deeply unsure of himself, and he was deeply ashamed. It was almost like he was cocooning after realizing what he had done, and also experiencing the amount of vitriol that he had been experiencing, both from his long-term haters, but also even his own fans, right? Not only experienced the regular sort of criticism, but even his own fans hated him, that kind of thing. So he was, in a very raw way, questioning everything, and also just questioning whether or not he would ever make content again. He was still making some content, but it was more safe for, right, the podcast or an unboxing video or something. And he wondered if he could ever make videos again without it devolving into toxicity and bigotry and hatred, and without it involving the kind of toxicity that happens from the audience, that kind of thing. Or without him 10 years later regretting harming people in that video, right? He was really ashamed, deeply ashamed, and deeply unsure of himself. And by the way, I asked him today if it was okay that I talked about all this, and he said, yeah, you have full license, talk about whatever you want to. So after learning a lot about his life and the sort of things that Ian and Anissa had been experiencing, and also learning about what sort of content he had been making prior, I was suggesting that he start thinking about, if he wanted to, how to make content cop videos that were from his new paradigm. Maybe they wouldn't be called content cop videos, but they would be in his voice that he had developed over time, and that the audience was hoping from him again, right? And I was, probably just a minor element of the story for him, the story that he's been on, the therapy and his relationship with Anissa has been very therapeutic for him and Anissa, and just all the ups and downs and trying to figure out how he fits into the creator world, and I'm just a tiny part of it, but I do remember having that hope that he could come out of this on the other side with a new perspective, a new foundation, start experimenting with his new perspective in a way that could be a force for good. So along those lines, when Ian recently, a couple weeks ago, texted me and said that he was working on a content cop video that he wanted me to be involved in, and I was curious as to what the video was going to be about. And so he told me what it was going to be about, and he showed me some footage of Ethan bullying him and Anissa during some of his live streams. And I agreed to do it because I wanted to support my friends, Anissa and Ian, but also because I wondered if I might be able to, in my small way, enter into the conversation with Ethan, that maybe I could influence the message that would be sent to Ethan.
And for all the people that keep saying, I don't understand why he was brought into this. I don't understand why he was brought into this. Why did you bring Kirk Honda into this? Why did you bring him into this? Why would you bring him into this? It's like, he says it right here. It's also, I think, like, if you can think for yourself, it should be pretty obvious. It's that this guy who feels like he has the ability to persuade Ethan Klein, and he sees this guy, Ethan Klein, currently on this like downward trend. He's unhappy with all of the fucking harassment he's claiming to get, that he feels like is unwarranted. He sees all this happening and he's saying like, well, maybe I can help. Maybe if like I give my 2 cents, maybe he'd be more willing to listen to me. Maybe he respects me, a licensed psychiatrist who has been very generous to him in the past. Maybe he's willing to listen to me and maybe I can reach him. Which again, like I just said, I feel like if you could use your brain at all, it should be pretty obvious why he's in this, but I don't know, maybe people just can't, I guess.
Not that I would manipulate Ian's video or anything, but that my vibe or way might, I don't know, get to Ethan somehow, because what I was seeing from the clips that Ian was sending me, it very much seemed like Ethan was struggling deeply. This is what Ian was talking about in the Content Cop video, where I said to Ian, it kind of looks like he just needs a hug. And what I meant by that was he seems like he's struggling. When we're struggling and we are terrified and we are in a chronic state of fear, we are going to say things that we wouldn't normally. We're going to think and believe things and see things through a lens that we wouldn't normally. And often those people need love, get away from the fear if possible, so that they can return to baseline. And we can't take what they're saying seriously, or we have to put it within that context. As an analogy, when you have a child, for the analogy I always give is you're teaching your daughter how to ride a bicycle, and you're holding on to the seat as you're trotting alongside of her, and she turns to you and says, let go, I want to do it on my own. I want to do it on my own. And you're like, okay. And you let go, and she goes for a while, and you're going, yay. And then she crashes, and she falls down, and she skins her knee, and you run up, and you're trying to help her, and she screams at you, why did you let go of my seat? Well, in that moment, we as parents don't yell at the kid and say, you told me to let go of the seat, you jerk face. We don't do that. We understand. When people are going through something, they're going to believe and say things that they wouldn't normally, right? Well, that applies to anyone of any age.
How dare you imply that Ethan Klein is just a child with a child brain? This is honestly very disgusting. I cannot believe that a psychiatrist, a licensed psychiatrist, would ever say this. I'm in awe. I am disgusted. I can't. This is unbelievable. I know you were saying that you were just trying to make an analogy to better explain the point that you're making, but I can't believe you would say this. On a totally different point, dude, kids are so stupid. It's so great. It's wonderful. I went to this hockey game, and as I was leaving, it was like these parents, and they had like their kid with them, and their kid is like running around, and they're like, those like metal gates. I don't know how to describe them. You put them up if you're trying to like stop traffic from entering an area. The kid's like running and like hitting all of the things, like tapping them with their hand. And the kid trips over the metal bar on the floor. And then the parent stops walking and looks. And the kid just starts crying and then runs. I'm like, this is so funny, but also kind of adorable. But really funny. Oh, God. Anyways, totally unrelated story. But it was something that brought me joy.
That doesn't excuse things, but it explains things and provides a treatment. It provides a path to help them. If you actually are interested in helping Ethan or helping to divert his pathway, whatever that's on, and the influence that he has, then love and understanding is the answer. Not that I'm just like, oh, everything's about love, but it works.
Why is this doctor also wearing the same shirt? He's a big Denim fan.
And it feels better, and
Solidarity.
it feels more logical, and I sleep better at night. So I was hoping possibly that he might get some of that message. And the way that it looked to me was that, again, Ethan was struggling with really a classic case of fear and paranoia. He had started with legitimate fears about Israel, Palestinians, Jewish people in general, his wife, his extended family, that sort of thing. His fears were totally justified and legitimate. Then, seemingly, I wasn't there for this progression, but, and actually talking with Ian, he confirmed this path, that seemingly Ethan did not have an approach to managing his mental state and his contact with the news cycle and the comments. When this sort of thing is happening, how much news do you consume? How many if you're a content provider, do you read all the comments? Do you read the entire subreddits, that kind of thing? And he seemed to have an approach that he just absorbs all that constantly. And this is what Ian was getting at in his content cop video, was that his employees are maybe even encouraged by him to feed him everything, and maybe even especially the hatred, because that's what gives him fuel to talk about online. Well, that will do a number on your soul. It's going to affect you. It's going to infect you if you don't have a way of pushing back on it. So he gets more hurt, more
Stop typing these messages on Defa. Stop. Stop. It's illegal. Comedy is illegal. You can't make jokes, okay? Making jokes against Ethan Klein is terrorism. Making these type of jokes where you say get to the part where he eats poop, making these type of jokes is terrorism against Ethan Klein. Okay, comedy is illegal. This is a serious death threat against him. This is basically the same as hiring a hitman. I cannot believe that you would condone such actions of violence. This is insane. This is insane. The derangement, the delusion here. Comedy is not legal, guys, okay? Comedy is when Ethan Klein calls Dan Clancy a all right? This is not comedy. This is anti-Semitism. Stop.
angry, more fearful, and becomes more black and white thinking, more reactive. He starts to fight back. Initially, it's probably somewhat justified, maybe sometimes crossing the line. Then those people hear that and they attack back, and more random people are
Even taking this empathetic response from this doctor and doubling down is wild to me. Yeah. As a former food trooper, I can say Ethan's greatest downfall. Wait, let me open this chat message. Ethan's greatest downfall is that he doesn't have any friends, and he doesn't his house or studio. He's talked about it plenty of times on the show over the years. He has someone come to believe that he has somehow come to believe that his employees are his friends because he doesn't go outside. He doesn't have a grasp on the real world. He's trapped inside a similar bubble as Elon, paying your friends and staying out of touch. I mean, unironically, the rent-a-friend meme is real. The thing is, like, your employees they have a prerogative to not speak up against you, that they understand, and they're going to understand where the limits are, and they don't want to lose their job. So you can't really ever be sure that your employees are your friends, right? I would say that there maybe is a distinction between like commissioning a friend for work, or like you can be friends, I think, with like your hairstylist maybe. But someone who shows up to work 4 times a week, is on camera 4 times a week, and there are multiple instances of you pressing the button because they disagreed with you. Like, that's not someone that you can actually maintain as a real friend. There's a reason people call them rent-a-friends. The imbalance is just too strong. They have a strong prerogative to not make you too upset because they enjoy their job.
Attacking, some of which are justified, but some of which is not, and over the top, and racist and anti-Semitic. And then it creates this feedback loop where he gets funneled all that. He has no approach to pushing back. He gets more terrified, more worried, more convinced that the straw man is out there that he's built up in his mind. And he gets more worried, more terrified, more angry, more hostile. That's what he knows.
And like, there are times where I think I've gotten good at it. I've gotten much better at spotting when I spend too much time online. But there have been times where at this point nowadays, it's like maybe I spend 2 minutes max. The thing is, having social anxiety helps a lot with this because anxiety in general, the best advice that a doctor will tell you, or like a therapist or whatever will tell you, you can't ruminate on things. And if there's nothing you can do to change something, then you should stop thinking about it. At the very least, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a therapist. Maybe this advice isn't helpful for you. This is not medical advice. I'm just speaking on my own experiences. And this has been the thing that's helped me the most, where the most helpful advice I've ever been given by a therapist on social anxiety was like, well, why are you nervous to go hang out with your friends? I was like, because I'm cringe. And they all think I'm cringe. And it's like, well, why would you think that? I don't know. Because it's like, okay, so they invited you to hang out. And when you hang out, they talk about how much fun they're having. And then they invite you to hang out more. So where's the part where they tell you that they hate you? What, have they done that? And it's like, well, no. But like, what if they did? What if they only politely asked to hang out intimately over an entire weekend? What if they did that? But like a big part of that, a big part of removing that section of your brain is recognizing that your feelings about this are, you're letting them get the better of you. And if there's nothing you can do to change it and there's nothing you can do to fix it, you shouldn't sit there ruminating on it. You shouldn't engage in like constantly thinking badly about yourself, which is the whole reason that, for example, for a lot of people, positive affirmations are really effective. For people who have, for example, like self-esteem issues, positive affirmations are huge, right? It's to try and undo all these like negative, impulsive thoughts that you might have. And so all of that is just to say, I will sometimes catch myself where I'm like scrolling through Twitter or whatever, and I'm looking at like interactions that I'm having that are negative, and I'm like getting a little annoyed. I'm like, wait, I don't have to do this. Wait, I have friends. Hey, do you want to go get Korean barbecue? Like, I see that the criticisms being made about me are totally based, like they're nonsensical. Like, you called CPS. I know for a fact there's no evidence of me calling CPS. I know for a fact I didn't do this. I know for a fact that there is proof of me saying, don't call CPS. I know for a fact that, 15 messages over the course of like 3,000 messages in 5 minutes overlaid over a clip that they weren't even there for is not evidence of this. So I don't have to be upset about this. I don't have to care about this. I should go hang out with my friends. I should go play some Last Epoch. I should go re-download Baldur's Gate and play it again with some buddies. Like, there are better things to do with my time. And they will make me feel better. Like, they will make me feel good, which is exactly what happens every time. It's like, oh man, I want to leave my house. And then after I come back home, I'm like, that was so much fun. I'm so glad I did that. But you have to be able to recognize, oh, wait, this isn't good. You have to be able to spot it immediately. Wait, why am I just sitting here giving the haters what they want? Why did I spend even 10 seconds giving the haters what they want? Let's go outside. Let's do something fun. And I will just like plan hangouts. Okay, let's go to the Ren Fair. All right, let's go get barbecue. Oh boy, I have a party to go to today, a birthday party. Like, unfortunately, the advice be normal is like the best advice that anyone will ever give you. Patch 8 is goated. Dude, patch 8 is goated. Last Epoch, recent patch is really good. Heart Secret.
Knows how to do, and he goes after them and has spontaneous reactions on his live streams and doesn't seem to have any approach to how to manage what he says other than the button, right? And no one around him seems to be able to or interested in helping him with this. Meanwhile, Ethan's mental state is declining and declining and declining. And
so far, that's been the meanest thing that he said.
then at some point, he hears, as Ian talks about in the Content Cop video, that this random editor with a very small following says something really horrible towards Ethan. And Ethan is fed this information, as he's fed almost everything that his people or Ethan himself can find on the internet. I mean, Ethan reads the snark subreddit for H3, which I just find just patently unhealthy for him. There's just no way that can be helpful to him. So he
and like if he's getting joy out of it, great, sick. I was getting. I'm gonna be honest. The post that I made of the photo of like DEI dubs, these photos that I've been posting recently. It's just, me in this outfit. I won't lie to you guys. I've been scrolling through them out of joy because a lot of the hate comments are like, oh, I'm so mad that she's hot. The only thing she has going for is that she's so sexy. Ugh, this is, can you believe this? This is so messed up. And the funny thing is that other people get mad and they're like, excuse you, she's mid. All right. Would I have sex with her? Yes. But she's definitely mid. Okay. All right. Okay, just let it be known. It's like, you don't think so? Really? Oh, thanks. But I've said it before. The problem with like a lot of people online that try and insult other people, I think specifically men that try and bully women, the problem is that like, if you are a man that hasn't had any female friends, you have no idea how to bully women.
Happy Sunday, so hum over from AnimeCon. Hope everyone is having a good weekend. How come no one told me there were comments under those stupid sexy pics?
You talk shit about their eyebrows to bully them? Yeah, unfortunately for them, my eyebrows are actually they're kind of clean. I've gotten them electrolysis, so they're clean as shit, dude. And they're always clean now. So I don't do Republican makeup. I know I've seen people try and the girlies. See, the women who bully me, they kind of like, they do a better job of bullying me. One thing that they try to do is like they try to bully my eyeliner where they're like, clown makeup much? The problem, of course, now that would be valid and legitimate if I wasn't trying to emulate obscene eyeliner looks from people that I think are beautiful, like Amy Winehouse. Like on days where I'm doing my eyeliner giant, know that I'm channeling Amy Winehouse. That's what I'm channeling. Which, like, if you don't think that she's beautiful and you don't think that her makeup look works for her, first of all, if you don't think this looks good, like, I don't know what to tell you. I think you're just wrong, okay? Personal opinion, I think you're wrong, right? So, take it up. Take it up with her, man. Take it up with her. And dare I say, if you didn't like it, okay, if you don't like her makeup, you're anti-Semitic. Yeah, I went there. I'm pulling out the Ethan Klein card. It's so right? But the women know how to insult, okay? Like they're trying, they're going for the right things. Making fun of how if someone's makeup looks busted, that's an insult that will work. Unfortunately, again, I'm very lazy. So my makeup is this moisturizer. It's a tinted moisturizer with sunscreen because I don't have the energy to do like 7 different fucking, I need my moisturizer and then I need my foundation and then I need my sunscreen. I'm so like, here's my, like the meme, the 10-in-1 men's products in the shower. Like that's this for me. That's this product for me. No, I'm not sponsored, by the way. Like I need as few products as possible. I use the same eyeliner from like the corners of my brows as I do for my my eyes. I'm too lazy to do like any type of eye makeup other than that. I got too lazy to do mascara. I refuse to do mascara. I used to do it all the time and I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not joking, guys. I got so exhausted and tired of having makeup brushes that constantly needed to be cleaned. I switched over to a liquid blush so I can use my fingers. Which I just take it out. I put one dot on my cheek, and then I do this. That's it. That's my makeup look. It's this 3-in-1 sunscreen tinted moisturizer. This blush, this lip stainer, and then my eyeliner. Because and then like obviously setting it, the setting spray and setting powder, but that's just to make it last. That's not makeup. That's just to make sure that it doesn't like wipe off. That's it. Because again, I'm too lazy. I had to reduce the packaging size for so many things because I was like, it needs to all fit into one container. It needs to fit in one container. So if I need to do my makeup on the go, I can just close it, zip it up, and take it with me. Like I am. Your skin just looks like that? No, my skin does not just look like this. Okay. All right. No, my skin does not. I normally get really bad acne and I get like hyperpigmentation, but I use Tret. And my skincare routine is also very lazy. I wash my face with a normal face wash. I apply my dermatologist's prescription for tretinoin, microsphere tretinoin. I highly recommend it. And then like the fucking $10 Pond's ice cream moisturizer. Did you just say acid? Yeah. I'm a lazy woman. I'm a very, very lazy. But I just try to be efficient with my laziness. Love Pond's? Yeah, dude. I think it's Pond's, right? It's like, this moisturizer is like goated. It's like God tier, guys. I'm not joking. It's actually $8. And it comes in this giant fucking tub. It is big. It's like this big. And it lasts me like 6 months or like a year. And I also like apply it on like my arms after my shower and my back to keep it nice and moisturized. Like I'm using this shit everywhere all the time. And it's very hydrating. Like my skin isn't even dry. And this is so hydrating. Bro, 400 grams. It's massive. It's massive. And again, it's like, it's $8. It's an $8 bottle. And it's never made me break out. Yeah. It's great. How's the scent? It's very neutral. It's very neutral. It feels a little sticky. Sticky is not the right words. You definitely feel the moisturizer on your face. But I think that's the price you pay for it being so moisturizing. It feels heavy, but you don't have to apply as much as I do. On days where I apply it very little, it doesn't feel like much. So it's kind of you apply more if your skin's really dry, but if your skin's not that dry, you can get away with a lot less and you basically don't feel it. I think this stuff is like, sorry to like do a girly talk right now, but I'm looking for a new face wash because La Roche fucking discontinued I can't believe they discontinued it. They discontinued my favorite face wash. So I'm still looking for a new face wash while I finish this bottle. I can't believe they discontinued it. No shade, is this an ad? No. First of all, legally, I would have to disclose that it's an ad. But second, I don't have any ads or sponsors or anything like that. I don't even have like promo links or like affiliate links. I'm not even plugging anything in the chat. I'm just saying, this is what I use. I use these two products. And my skin is like, I'm not joking. It's the best it's ever been. It's so high. Like most of the time when I leave my house, I'm not even wearing makeup because I'm just like, I put on my sunscreen and then I leave. I don't even do my eyeliner because I'm like, okay, it looks fine. I look fine. But that's only because of this stuff. That is literally only because of this stuff. This is like the godsend product. If you're struggling with any skincare products at all, get yourself a face wash that your skin likes. Every skin texture is different. Get yourself this retinoin. Or retinol. This retinol. Get yourself this one. I'm not joking. Tretinoin gel microsphere 0.04%. This is the one. Don't get the other one. Don't get the cream. This one, the microsphere. It has to say microsphere. This one's just better. It's a long story. I did all of this research. I read a bunch of fucking studies because I was tired of YouTubers lying to me about skincare products. All the research, the studies that they've done, they've had like sample sizes of like 300 people using the skincare product. This one versus the tretinoin one. This one is just better. The only downside is that you need to get it from a dermatologist. But if you go to them and you ask them for it, they'll give it to you. This is like what most people get prescribed. The problem is that this stuff is a lot more irritating. The retinol uglies are worse in the first like week or whatever, where you feel the burning. It lasts longer. It's just a shittier version of this product, basically. That's the only way to explain it. Just a shittier version of this one. Get yourself a face wash. Get yourself tretinoin gel microsphere. And get yourself this Pond's cream. Which again, it's at like every fucking Walgreens. It's on Amazon. It's on their website. And it's $8. Why face wash instead of soap? Soap is very stripping. Traditional like body soap is very, very stripping, and your skin is a lot more sensitive on your face. You don't want to strip all the oils out of your face because that's how you get acne. Face wash is formulated to, first of all, have like things like salicylic acid, which are good for acne, but also it's not so stripping. So you still have some oils in your skin, so it doesn't dry your skin out like really badly. So yeah, they're usually also formulated with other things. Maybe like, I think like some ones have like niacinamide or something in them to help help your skin. Anyways, yeah. I think Pond's might have a good cleanser too. Maybe I'll try the Pond's cleanser since they discontinued. These two products. Sorry to like go on this tangent for so long, but like these two products. This one, get yourself a face wash. Get yourself this shit from a dermatologist. Get yourself this moisturizer. Because I am lazy. I used to have a whole makeup routine. I used to put mascara on. I used to do my eyeliner. I used to do my eyebrow with like 3 different pencils. I used to do blush and highlighter. Had a whole gloss set up for my lips. I had like eyeshadows I used to use. And I'm just too lazy to do it all the time now. I don't have the energy. The one thing I will say is if you get these skincare products, if you get this one, you have to wear sunscreen. You have to wear sunscreen. If you do not wear sunscreen, you apply this at night, no matter what, you apply this at night, and you have to apply it every day. Treat it like antibiotics. You know how when you go to the doctor and you get antibiotics and they're like, remember, don't skip a day? It's the same thing. You can't skip a day with this. Your skin has to get acclimated to it. So the first month you will have retinol uglies where your skin will feel like it's like actually burning. That's normal. It will get better. It will get better. It has to go down before it goes up. It's like purging or whatever. But you should not wear it every day. Yes, you should. You can just read the studies on this. You can read the research on what they say about getting your skin acclimated. They show that the people who do like the every other day thing, it doesn't really work. Anyways, you want to use this every night, once a day at night, and you want to use sunscreen if you go outside. And sunscreen's only effective for 2 to 3 hours. Just in case people are interested. I don't want you guys to like put tretinoin on your skin and then not wear sunscreen. That would be insane. All right, I'm done. Again, this is all based on medical research on these products. It's really goated stuff. And if you get retinols in stores, by the way, just know that the percentage that they write is not always accurate. And research has been done on like the retinols that you can buy at like Sephora or like in the CVS pharmacy or whatever. Like not CVS pharmacy, sorry, CVS, like Walgreens or whatever. The retinols that you buy there, the research has shown that like the percentages, they'll say like it's 2% and it's like 0.001%. Or to be like, this is a 5% niacinamide or whatever. And it's like, there's none of it in there. The percentage are it's totally random. If it's not from a dermatologist, treat it like non-FDA approved supplements. It's like, this is the supplement that makes your cum huge. It's like, not FDA approved. All right, you have no idea what's in there. And they don't have to report on what's in there. So, yeah. Only products from your dermatologist are going to have an actually accurate number because it's from a doctor. Okay. That's all I want to say. Oh, and this advice doesn't apply if you have like rosacea or you have other skin issues. I'm just talking to people who have like occasional acne. If you have rosacea or eczema or something, there are other retinols that are better suited for that from what the research I briefly read up on is. If you have psoriasis or whatever, but anyways. If you have normal skin, and you just get acne once in a while, or like your skin's really dry or it's flaky, or you just don't like the texture, like it's not soft, that's the one. Okay, I'm done for. This was a re-upload. Let's get back to it. Sorry.
Is seeing that this person is saying a toxic thing. He also learns that that person used to work for iDubbz or might currently, and then he thinks, oh, iDubbz, I thought he was a friend, and he's not speaking out against that person. And because I'm in such a state of fear and paranoia, and I don't use that word lightly, not because he started that way, but because of the non-management of what he was exposed to. And you just think about what's been happening over the past year and a half for Ethan. Through his paranoia, he interprets that, learning about that toxic thing that someone who used to be associated with Ian before as evidence that Ian and Anissa are secretly against him. And that hurts him. It makes him feel afraid. This is not the first time this has happened for him in all likelihood. There have probably been other times when it might have been more confirmed or there was better data indicating that someone that he thought he could trust, he couldn't really actually trust, right? Not only could he not trust that person, but that those people were actually a very harmful, scary element in his life, calling CPS on him and supporting that or whatever, right? And you just think about that, right? That when that happens, then when it starts to come into your house, from what I understand, the CPS workers actually entered the house to conduct an investigation. So Ethan goes off on Ian and Anissa on the air again, because his style is spontaneous and off the cuff, and there's no guardrails except for that button, which isn't really a guardrail. It just kind of gives, as Ian was pointing out, him more freedom to just say whatever and think. And that's what Ian was getting at in the Content Cop video, was that it seems like Ethan has no boundary or editor in his mind. And the button actually was a solution to a problem that made the problem worse. Because as a content provider, even if you're an edgy comedian online, there has to be some line, some concern about how you're affecting other people, right? Some empathy, right? You'll have an impulse to say something and you'll think, well, it seems kind of funny and appropriate now, but if I were in someone else's shoes, what effect would that have on someone? I probably shouldn't go that far, right? It's not that you're being disingenuous and not saying the truth. You're incorporating the bigger picture. And if you don't have that inside of you, then you're just going to speak completely from whatever just happens to emerge for you impulsively. And Ian made a great case for that. So again, I agreed to be in the video, and he came over to my house and to my home recording studio, and we recorded. This is footage from that. And we talked for over 3 hours. And I, at some point, said, I think we should probably cut this off. And we were having a really in-depth conversation. There were a lot of ups and downs. And so when I handed over all of the footage, I just gave it to him. I was thinking I wasn't going to be in the video because I was thinking, how in the world, in a content, in his style, how could he use anything that we said in that video? Because it was so slow and, in my yammering way, it was slow-paced and emotional and vulnerable and nuanced. And I just thought, I can't imagine he's going to use any of that. And I even told him, I said, if you don't use any of this footage, I'm not going to be insulted. Or if you use like 3 seconds, whatever. And I trusted him. And I didn't want to give him the impression that I didn't trust him, because I didn't want to poison the well in that way. I wanted him to go for it. I knew I was taking a risk, but I knew enough of him to trust that at the very least it wouldn't be negative for me. And that approach is something that I learned as a therapist, not only in practice, but also theoretically, that people behave the way that you treat them, the way that you believe in them. Either way, right? If you treat them poorly and don't believe in them, then they tend to behave in ways that are problematic, sometimes to you. But if you believe in people and you say, I know that you can do the right thing, I believe in you, then across the board, and this is demonstrated through empirical observation, that people will behave in more responsible, empathetic, non-problematic ways. Not all the time, but it has a huge effect on people. And that believing in Ian does not mean disbelieving in Ethan, or vice versa. So I thought I would actually watch.
I hate to even go and stoop to such an intellectual low, but this is just the Not the sex joke. This is just the 6ix9ine meme. Just because you're right doesn't mean I'm wrong or something. Let me see if I can find it. Like, it's quite literally this. Right? Like, I genuinely do think that Ethan doesn't understand and doesn't feel like it's fair that people are, like, being mean to him online. I believe that. I think he genuinely is, like, at a loss for words. Like, he really doesn't understand how this could be happening to him. But he's also refusing to see the perspective that anybody else has.
A few clips from the over 3-hour conversation that I had with Ian.
This is dipping my toes in a very there's a lot of controversial topics around it. Ethan's a controversial guy.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I'm happy that you're doing it because, jumping back into the deep end, which the internet needs you now.
Yeah.
Okay, that's funny. So that's the very beginning of the recording, and that's in line with what I was saying earlier. But the main thing that he wanted me to do when we were meeting was to watch this video that he made. Let's watch that video now.
A couple years ago, Ethan Klein was playing a video clip of Cutie Cinderella, a fellow streamer, crying about a very traumatic situation she was going through involving Atrioc and this whole deepfake porn situation. And Ethan Klein very stupidly played a comedic soundbite, and he just lost it. He was cackling. Ethan recognized that it was not a good thing to do, so he pretty quickly apologized.
If I had known that the whole video was concluding on me changing the grade, I still would have refused to change my grade, but I would have done it in a much more careful way, because I thought that he was just experimenting with different elements of the content cop video. I thought I was going to be one of hundreds of possible things that he would put in, and I thought since I didn't change the grade, I wouldn't even make it in the video.
And it's really funny that people keep saying, lol, L from iDubbz, that he didn't keep it in. It's like, you realize he didn't keep it in because of his values there. He doesn't want to only keep in the things that side with him. He doesn't want to keep in only the things that justify or validate his position. He wants to put in the things that say, no, I'm not going to do that. You're wrong for even asking me to, Ian. I'm not going to do that. I thought it made it better. I thought it felt more fair. I thought it felt better. And the fact that Ian says that he changed how he was going to make the video, because I remember when we shot the opening bit segment, the Wake Up Ethan, the nightmare sequence, I remember thinking, this is going to be hilarious. This is going to be a really mean roasting takedown of him. Fuck, isn't it? It's going to be bad, huh? This is going to be brutal on him. And then weeks later, like a week or two later, when he eventually spoke to Kirk Honda, he was like, I got a message being like, hey, would you want to shoot something saying something nice about Ethan? Like giving him a metaphorical hug. And I was like, okay. I don't see the vision. I don't know, but sure. And his position was like, well, I want to try and take an empathetic position. I was going to go harsher, and after talking to Kirk and everything, I want to end the note on an empathetic side. I want people to say things that they genuinely mean. So could you say something about Ethan that you genuinely mean? Which is exactly what I did. Why did he delete the video? The only thing that we know, I mean, I've never spoken to Psychology in Seattle ever, like literally ever. I don't have any messages with him. I've never spoken to him. So this is pure speculation. I would believe that it's because of some level of harassment that he's gotten. I would gamble that he got messages like this on his video saying, this is disgusting behavior from a doctor. And it came after Ethan Klein posted these Instagram stories that he has since deleted. It's like these essay Instagram stories. How can you watch it? Someone was kind enough to re-upload it. 2 subscribers. So, yeah. But he also privated his Instagram. Yeah, I mean, this is the post that Ethan Klein made on his Instagram story, basically being like, this is unprofessional and you're attacking my character. he says, extremely unprofessional. You are participating in a bad faith attack on my character. He keeps also saying that, like, did you not find it odd that someone flew to you for the express purpose of recording you analyzing another public figure? Which I don't know why he keeps saying, like, flew to you. I thought, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're not in Seattle. I thought Ian and Issa were in Seattle. Maybe I don't know, did they move or something? They're in the same city. I wouldn't think it's weird if, like, I don't know, Sabrina was like, hey, you want to, like, shoot something together? Or like, hey, I want to bring you on. Or like if Caroline said something, that doesn't feel like flying out for an occasion when it's like right down the street or something. I don't, but yeah, he says that, like, the only thing that we saw is that the pinned comment on his video before he deleted it was him saying, I apologize that if my video made it seem like, I'm paraphrasing, Ethan is crazy. That was not my intent. And then the video was gone. So wasn't Ethan saying Kirk was tricked into this? Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I asked him about it actually today, and he said that he thought I was going to change the grade, and that when I didn't change the grade, he had to completely rewrite the ending, the epilogue to that hour-long content cop video. And he had to, and maybe influenced, to make it more positive. And then he reached out to all those content providers for them to all say something nice in light of what I had done. and I thought, oh my God. I mean, it is what I was hoping. I mean, not that specifically, but that message I was hoping to influence. I didn't realize I would be that pivotal. I didn't realize I was, I can imagine for him being quite disappointed after we had that 3-hour conversation. We hung out afterwards as well, the four of us, Stacey and Anissa and Ian and I, and just, shot the shit.
He pretty quickly apologized. Now, that apology was pretty well recognized as a good apology amongst the non-experts, but the experts also weighed in. I mean, as much as you can be an expert in apologies, it's not like an official title or anything, but Dr. Kirk Honda weighed in. Now, Ethan was able to hit most, if not all, the points on this grading scale. Basically, this resulted in Ethan getting an A+ apology. You could say that I'm salty because I got a B+.
The other thing that he showed me, and when we were watching this video a couple weeks ago, I asked him, what is this? Did you put together this graphic that has all my apology video grades? Because there was a point a while back where I wanted to actually go back and watch all my apology videos and write down all the grades that I'd given because I had forgotten. Because in some later apology videos, I would be referring to past apologies, and I wanted to be able to contrast grades and the rubric that I use, that kind of thing. And
saying that he got a B and Ethan got an A. Well, I agree with Kirk's reasoning behind it. His reasoning behind it is, I'm judging these apologies when they happen. I'm not judging anything that's happening after the apology, right? Because obviously, how can I know what's going to happen? So I'm judging it based on, like, how genuine the apology feels and how targeted it is towards, like, presumably the victim. He explains, I'm sure, in all of these videos in very detailed fashion why he thinks certain ones are good and why he thinks certain ones are bad. If I had to guess, I'd be like, maybe iDubbz's apology was less bad less good because it might have been more focused on his growth. It might have been more focused on how, like, from Ian's perspective instead of from the people who were harmed's perspective. But, like, also, like, a B is not a failing grade, right? Like, shit, man, B's get degrees.
I asked him, I said, did you make this? That's amazing. And he's like, no, H3, Ethan Klein and his people or his fans or something put together this web page, and each is a clickable thing to take you to my video. And it's heavily featured on the H3 podcast or the fan side. I can't remember which, because of how often Ethan talks about it and how vindicating or how praising it is to Ethan, because he is the only one that has maybe even received an A.
The apology, in my opinion, has just served to, like, boost his ego and kind of give him an out.
You know, he rated my apology to Cutie Cinderella a perfect score, a perfect 10.
A perfect 10 out of 10?
Literally 10 out of 10. Go back. I can teach you how to make a good apology. I'm the best
10 out of 10.
I know what a perfect apology is, lady.
When Ethan initially had talked about my video, my apology.
Yeah, I'm a content provider, guys.
Analysis of him. People were sending me the link. I'm like, oh my God, Ethan talked about you. Because people know that I'm a small-time YouTuber, and so they're just like, do you know that a famous person is talking about you? And I took it that way. And I think maybe there was another time that people were sending, but I just thought that was it. But watching this mashup of all these little clips, I asked Ian, I was like, does he really talk about my grade this often? And Ian said, yes. And the stuff I'm showing you right now is a small portion of the amount of times that he refers to your grade of his apology, which was interesting and flattering, I will say, and I think deserved. It was a good apology. If you didn't watch the apology, watch it or watch my analysis of it. But it was very long, very authentic in his way, very off the cuff, and very acknowledging of the harm. It was way beyond. And I would say that Ian was a close second, as evidenced by that graphic we saw in which he's the only B, right? I think that not only should someone be rewarded for a very rare thing, which is to, in my book, demonstrate very strongly a lot of them core.
Talking about how good you are at apologizing sounds disingenuous. Well, it doesn't mean that the original apology was disingenuous. It means that you have an ego problem. You can be narcissistic and egotistic, but also be capable of giving a good, genuine apology. It doesn't have to mean that it was a disingenuous apology. I think all of the actions later, what I will say about him is his actions later and the way he's talked about Cutie since then, that I feel like makes the apology not genuine.
Components of an effective apology. But also, I think that Ethan, as other content providers, like Ian himself, are almost never given positive feedback. And so anyone saying something positive, I would imagine, would be emotionally very important to him.
Of course, the problem is that, like, even me, even with all the criticism I've made so many positive comments about Ethan. First of all, do you guys remember when that one, it was like this video that somebody made of like Klein shooting children or some shit. It was a crazy video. That one was pretty fucked up. And I was like, hey guys, not cool. Not cool. Like, listen, we can have our disagreements. This is maybe a little bit classless. This one's a little bit it's also a little bit weird and like torture porny. But I've also like, I've given him credit for the children thing, which I've now had to like recount because he brought him on. It was fucking weird. I've given him credit for being a wife guy, dude. I've given him so much credit over the years on a bunch of things. And he just like, the problem is that he has like selective hearing. So he hears all the negative comments and he never hears the positive comments ever. Ever.
You fucking don't. Is my perfect apology in this PowerPoint? Dude, I got a perfect 10 out of 10.
This one is actually best apology, so.
Ethan Klein, you guys, oh my God.
Okay, so if you don't know, he reached out to me to participate in the Steamies from, was it last year or 2 years ago? I can't remember. And they wanted me to submit an award granting to him in the style of the Steamies. And so I gave them a couple options of videos and they showed it. And so that's what's happening here.
Psychology in Seattle would not be giving this a good rating. In fact, I look forward to him rating it. Probably get pretty low marks.
Not the Dr. Disrespect.
And yeah, I didn't react to that apology video. I probably just didn't have the time.
And I think that it's more than appropriate for Dr. Kirk Honda to fucking adjust his apology rating, because that's horse shit. So Kirk, this is your opportunity. Ethan has been flaunting this A everywhere.
So I almost am glad that it happened.
Psychology in Seattle.
Yes, I'm just kidding. If you get an A+ apology, it's almost better. I'm glad I said what I said.
Now, I suppose some people would accuse me of kowtowing to Ethan because I'm getting free publicity every time he talks about it. And if I were to rescind that, I would lose that opportunity. That has not occurred to me. Maybe it's in the back of my mind. That's possible. But I learned a long time ago that that kind of publicity, and even the publicity that I'm getting from being an iDubbz content cop video, doesn't really translate into followership or money for me. I learned that a long time ago because when you cast a really wide net, you get a lot of different sorts of people, and very few of them would be interested in my kind of content.
And in a way, if you want to be like silver lining, it's kind of good that it happened.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, but
Give this guy a fucking taste. Now we're getting out of apology territory, but I need to just get some shit out to sweeten the deal for you, Kirk. He used to be the hero.
Okay, so I think this is the portion of the video that is just for me. That's not intended to be in the content cop video. And keep in mind that at this point, Ian is hoping and planning on me changing the grade.
I see you out there, you fucking cockroach.
So now that my presentation is over, I'm going to pass this over to Dr. Kirk Honda to give us a professional opinion. And
The entire content graph was cherry-picked to hell and left out all the essential context. So hollow. What do you think was missing? Mr. MC Wizard TTV.
And maybe, if we're lucky, there might be some amendment to Ethan Klein's, perfect apology. Because I don't think this is a perfect apology.
Every time Cutie gets an opportunity to shit on me, she takes it without a batting or
I don't
laugh.
know if that's what is Cutie. I don't think this is Ludwig. They're separate people.
Right. Is it a perfect apology? I don't know if I've used that word. Maybe I have, but that doesn't feel like what I was saying or want to say. I just want to put out there that his apology had all the components that I'm looking for in a public apology and more. So that's an A+. That's all it means. Now, I don't know if you're catching this context, but this is a pretty good zinger to have at the end of this video that's meant for me, that he is later after the apology to the person that he transgressed upon, Ethan is saying questionable, problematic things that his producer is pushing back on, which is what he often is having to do for Ethan. No, you're interpreting that wrong. And I'll tell you that in a way, I can very much relate to this. I've talked about this before, that I'll get an email or a comment or someone will talk about me online, and it'll initially get me very hurt and afraid, and then I get very angry, and I go to Stacy to either I know I should check in with her or I'm just venting, and 9 times out of 10, she'll say, I saw that email too, and I don't think you're interpreting it right. I don't think that's what they were saying. Or I saw that comment, and I think you need to reread that comment. And at first, I'm like, how dare you invalidate me or something? I don't say that, but that's how it feels at first. But again, 9 times out of 10 from there, I find that she's absolutely correct, that I was overreacting. Or just I'll get a text from a friend, and I'll overreact, and I'll ask her, or I'll vent, and she'll be like, I don't think you're getting that right. Or she'll listen really well, as she always does, and I'll calm down, and then I'll realize I probably should question my initial assumption, which happens sometimes. And so there's that function. The difference is I'm not doing it while I'm being recorded. Ethan does it while he's being recorded. People...
Go watch the H3 response. He addressed all of it. I don't like iDubbz or H3. I have no horse in this. The entire cyber thing in itself was misrepresented, and Ian's argument held no relation to the issue Ethan had. Yeah, I mean, I watched all of it the day before yesterday. I didn't feel like he brought up anything that was missing or that should have been in the video. Can you point at something more specific than that? Because I've already watched all of it. I watched all 8 hours, I think, in total.
React to that. I mean, if people saw me in that state, there would be a lot of justifiable, especially if I'm publishing it, you know what I mean? Putting it out there, and I don't rescind it right away, which doesn't usually happen anyway. You know, in my personal, when I'm venting and stuff, I don't immediately say to Stacey, oh, you're right, I was wrong. Sometimes it takes me a while, you know? The difference is that Ethan does it on the air, which is hurtful to those that he's talking about. Then they attack him back, and it just creates that feedback loop. That's another element here.
People say Cutie defends me on her podcast with Maya. Well, I've seen lots of clips of her shitting on me, but I guess maybe that was all I saw.
So he is initially being hurtful and assuming bad things about the person that he transgressed on, and then the producer's like, no, she's actually on your side. And that's supposed to, from Ian's point of view, influence me to take the grade back. But this is further confirmation of in this little snippet. And we'll rewind this, actually, because I think this is important. It demonstrates that for Ethan.
This is the craziest part about this as well. This guy is so charitable. It is insane that he was getting any negative comments on his video, or that he got enough harassment that he took down the video. But it's so crazy that he's being so charitable, that he sees this, that he sees Ethan respond to a statement from like Dan or something saying, no, she defended you. Or I think it might have been a chat message. She defended you on her podcast, actually. And he says, like, immediately, without skipping a beat, I'm pretty sure everything I've seen of her has been her shitting on me. Despite the fact that Cutie hasn't done that at all, ever. And that this guy sees that and says, see, this is a clear example of why I don't want to rescind the grade, right? It's because he's not doing this maliciously. He's lashing out because he thinks he's on the defense. He thinks he's being attacked, and he's changing his perspective as he gets more information. But it's like, man,
This is him after that progression that I talked about a while back, where he gets hurt and afraid. Very hurt, very afraid. He initially has some...
Y'all can hate. It's called Watching Both Sides. I watched the content come first, and I thought iDubbz was right in his assertions, but he completely ignored all the CPS stuff and more. I think you're missing more context, actually. Denims put out a video on her channel on Denims Dunks. I'll link it to you so you can watch it, because I agree we should watch all of the stuff to get all the context. But you should watch this video that shows how, like, everything that Ethan talked about regarding the CPS, he was lying about all of it. And in fact, he even admitted that he knew that she didn't call CPS. Yeah, I mean, here's like a small tidbit, but I know that since you were willing to watch all of the eight hours of Ethan covering it, I'm sure you're down to watch 22 minutes. But here, I'll play you just this one clip so you can get an idea.
Deanbo, do you have any idea how traumatic it is to have the authorities randomly
Here's the link
step
for
to
you,
your
Chatter.
house at night, going through all your things, accusing you of crimes you didn't do? No one should be subjected to such treatment.
Sure, but we're talking about not cops showing up at your house. We're talking about CPS, which anyways, to begin with, one, I don't condone. I've never condoned it, and you will not be able to find a clip of me saying, yes, we should do this, because it doesn't exist. I think CPS should be exclusively used for family vloggers who are total fucking pieces of shit that use their kids as content. I've literally given Ethan Klein credit on multiple times or multiple instances, and I will do it again right now, for not showing photos of his kids. I think it is actually very cool of him to try his best to not have his kids in photos, in videos. I respect that a lot. I think he's a piece of shit, and I think he's going insane and he's crazy, but I respect a lot that he doesn't bring his kids on camera and use them for content.
Is on her platform right now advocating for our children to be forcibly removed from us by Child Protective Services. Maybe she should think about issuing an apology and retraction.
Or at least saying calling CPS is fucking crazy. Don't do
Is it that hard?
please.
Oh no, what she does kind of, she goes,
Yeah.
after being like, Ethan's the worst person in the world, and like, yeah, his kid, I'm watching Bad Amp, and I'll be like, yeah, his kids crawl around and eat shit, and her whole entire chat being like, call CPS, but she'd be like, obviously don't call CPS. It's like, yeah, right.
So yeah, I think you are missing this context, Chatter. I agree. Yeah, you should watch both sides here. And unfortunately, I think it's obvious after you watch this video that he's lying about her calling it. He knowingly is lying because he's seen the clip where I say, don't call CPS. It's totally unacceptable. It's not acceptable. Earlier in the video, it debunks the chat logs that are edited to make it seem like it's 100% of my chat, which is a quote that he has. So yeah, if you are interested in context, like you say that you are a chatter, I would love for you to, watch that video, give it a look. That video explains why it didn't make any sense for Ian to bring up the CPS stuff, because the people in the video had nothing to do with the CPS.
Slightly problematic takes and clapbacks.
For real, send that link. Yeah, it's in the chat. I'll see you whenever you finish the video, when you finish watching it. But make sure you watch all of it,
if you will. And he does it off the cuff, and he's absorbing all of the negativity without any filter, seemingly. Then people fight back, right? And then more people fight back in unfair ways to him, right? Because he's already...
It's mind-boggling that you act morally superior when you literally tried to take their kids away by calling CPS on them. You had no right, and you should be ashamed. You've been following for 4 minutes. You just saw me play the clip. Are you not capable of opening your ears? Can you not listen? But this has to be like a sarcasm moment, right? It has to be. No one is so dumb that they would hear their guy, Ethan Klein, literally say, okay, yeah, she said don't call CPS. Like, you just saw Ethan himself say this.
Crawl around and eat shit, and her whole entire chat being like, call CPS, but she'd be like, obviously don't call CPS. It's like, yeah, right.
He literally says, he admits here, this is him admitting that I said don't call CPS. Right after the clip of me showing that I say don't call CPS. Zarf, stop. Oh, thanks. Thank you, Skooske. Thanks. All right, let's get back to the video.
already being somewhat unfair. He gets more paranoid, more afraid, more hurt. He gets more upset. He spontaneous. And so down the line, as he comes across that one, I think, tweet or something by one of Ian's former associates, he gets paranoid that, oh, Ian and Issa are against me, right? That's not his typical stance. It's not his typical interpretation of that. It's after months and months of his mental state being harmed by himself. He's doing this to him. I mean, people are doing it to him, but he's doing nothing to prevent it, right? And maybe even he knows it's happening. I don't know. Maybe he knows, like, oh, this is good for ratings. You know, you always have to come up with something to say.
But the worst part is it's not even good for ratings.
And I really feel bad for content providers like Ethan who don't have something like me where I have a professional training aspect that I can always talk about, right? I can provide that, you know, only a small percentage of, you know, an audience like what he has are interested in, but, you know, enough of an audience. I can share that information. Whereas if you're just a guy who people think is kind of funny and interesting, how do you come up with something to say? How do you come up with content? You wake up in the morning and say, well, what do I have to offer? You know, and so you'd end up just falling into this pattern of, well, what people are interested in is just me flying off the handle, you know? So I think that might be another element. That doesn't release him from responsibility, of course, but I think it's another piece of the context. So let's rewatch this and keep in mind that there's a possibility, I don't know, it's just total speculation on my part, that his mental state has been affected in a way that any of us would be affected by if all of that
Well, I think that a major problem, this is an assumption because I don't know Ethan Klein personally, obviously, but like, I think a major problem is that he doesn't spend enough time like getting away from the internet. Like, well, I guess it's actually not a major assumption because he spends a lot of time fucking typing out these essays and stuff. He posts on his Instagram story a lot. A lot. It's like every day, multiple times a day, and it's almost always every single day he has like one that looks like this. And it just doesn't, you're just not, it's so hard to be normal when you're spending every day doing this. Like, I can tell you for a fact, on the days where I know I've spent too much time online, my mental is worse. It just is. It's just worse because you're sitting there feeding into the negativity. And you're forgetting what like living is all about, right? Like, I go to a birthday party. I have so much fun. I come home like with a smile on my face, ready to tackle the next day. Right? I'm just like, oh, dude, that was so much fun. Dude, life is worth living. Life's amazing. God bless. You know? And I think he lets himself feed into this stuff, and he goes through all these hate threads, and he goes through all of these clips that H3 Productions, the subreddit, is like feeding him. And it's just not good. To be fair, if you were experiencing the harassment wouldn't it also be hard to disconnect? Well, no, I am experiencing the harassment. I'm experiencing much worse harassment than he is. I mean, I think my Instagram, unfortunately, I don't go on Instagram, but even like Twitter, like I have a bunch of people accusing me of something I didn't do. You have to close the computer or log off, dude. Log off and go enjoy things. Why did you justify CPS at Ethan's house? No, except I didn't. I mean, I just played the clip. I feel like, do you guys just want to see the clip over and over again? I literally just played it. Do you want to see it again? I'll show you the clip again. This is the clip on supposedly justifying the CPS visit that happened. This is from the stream 2 days after the CPS call. Sure, but this is the clip that they like to bring up. You can tell it's the same outfit. This is literally the next 2 minutes of the clip that was cut out. We're talking about not cops showing up at your house. We're talking about CPS, which anyways, to begin with, one, I don't condone. I've never condoned it, and you will not be able to find a clip of me saying, yes, we should do this, because it doesn't exist. I think CPS should be exclusively used for family vloggers who are total fucking pieces of shit that use their kids as content. I've literally given Ethan Klein credit on multiple times or multiple instances, and I will do it again right now, for not showing photos of his kids. I think it is actually very cool of him to try his best to not have his kids in photos, in videos. I respect that a lot. I think he's a piece of shit, and I think he's going insane and he's crazy, but I respect a lot that he doesn't bring his kids on camera and use them for content.
is on her platform right now advocating for our children to be forcibly removed from us by Child Protective Services. Maybe she should think about issuing an apology and retraction.
Or at least saying calling CPS is fucking crazy. Don't do
Is it that hard?
please.
Oh no, what she does kind of, she goes,
Yeah.
after being like, Ethan's the worst person in the world, and like, yeah, his kid, and watching Bad Amp, and I'll be like, yeah, his kids crawl around and eat shit, and her whole entire chat being like, call CPS, but she'd be like, obviously don't call CPS. It's like, yeah.
Here's him admitting that I didn't say that. I didn't say to call CPS. In fact, I said the opposite said exactly what was played 2 seconds ago. I don't condone calling CPS on someone like this. I just don't. So you know he's seen it. My bad, it's okay, I bet. Not trying to gotcha anyone, I just want a clarification, thank you. No, you're good. But this is what I'm talking about, chatter, about like experiencing harassment. Wouldn't it be hard to disconnect? I can still manage to disconnect even though countless people are accusing me of a crime. This is a very serious thing to accuse someone of. Accusing someone of falsely calling and falsely calling for other people to call CPS on a fraudulent basis. That's a very serious thing to accuse someone of. And then, yeah, of course, the doctored chat messages, the doctored chat logs, which is also broken down in this video if you haven't seen it. The thing is, Ethan Klein was too afraid to watch this video. And I'm trying to respond very honestly, and I'm trying to not be mean to these chatters because I genuinely do think a lot of people are in this boat where they like literally don't know because Ethan Klein refuses to watch this video, which is why, in my thing I say, Ethan Klein will watch splice clips of this video. He actually ended up not even trying to watch it at all. But here I break down the chat logs things as well, and the chat messages as well, and I talk about everything from beginning to end. But that's why I'm trying to be empathetic to these people and trying to like talk to them directly and say, hey, I guess I'll just play the same part of the video over and over again as many times as I have to. Because he is knowingly lying. He is claiming that I was calling for other people to call this. But it's just not. It's just not true. And he knows it's not true.
Activity and hatred and attacking, and a lot of it unfair, because we don't see all of the horribleness that, even if you pay attention, you don't see all the horribleness that he might be absorbing. And then he gets this little hint that maybe, I think her name's QT, the woman that was crying about the deepfake porn, and he was laughing, and then he apologized later. And he gets a little glimpse, and then he's so paranoid. He's such a quick, he's got a real itchy trigger finger, goes after the producer. No. And then you can kind of see the gears turning in his mind. It's like, not only is this assumption not true, but the producer's saying, no, she's on your side. She's supporting you. And that in-group out-grouping is happening. It's like, oh, she's out-group. Wait, so she's in-group? And, you can see his brain trying to adjust that.
Every time Cutie gets an opportunity to shit on me, she takes it without a batting or a laugh.
I don't know if that's, what is Cutie? I don't think this is Ludwig. They're separate people.
Oh, people say Cutie defends me on her podcast with Maya? Oh, I've seen lots of clips of her shitting on me, but I guess maybe that was all I saw and not the whole thing.
So that's the end of that video, but I don't know if you see what I'm seeing, but that's what I'm seeing, the way I described it earlier.
Anissa and I have experienced like the same kind of level of harassment. Makes me feel like qualified to talk to him about it because
So I don't know if you noticed that, but he was on the verge of crying in that moment, or it looked that way to me. So just keep that in mind as we move forward here. But I think this could help to give Ian credibility in his content cop video, that he was at first not wanting to make a content cop video. He wanted to reach out to Ethan and explain and to make up, right? To have their work friendship, so to speak, reconciled at the very least, and maybe even to result in Ethan publicly rescinding some of the things that he was saying about Ian and Anissa. Not just because Ian and Anissa care, and if you have a friend even.
It's also so obvious that the people, it's so obvious that people in H3 subreddit are treating him like a lolcow to be milked and manipulating him in ways that hurt him. I think this is like the saddest part that people don't talk about it nearly enough. If you go to this subreddit, they treat him like they treat, I rarely utter the name because it causes me such psychic damage, Chris Chan. there is a rot in this subreddit. And most of the people that post here are not posting to make Ethan Klein's life better. They are posting to keep him in this shit show. That's why they're never posting about like, oh, dude, Ethan should cover this really funny drama in like the VTuber space, or like, oh, Ethan really should cover the book talk stuff on TikTok. They don't provide him fun content to talk about on his podcast and on his show, which is what the show is supposed to be. It's just supposed to be funny things on the internet. And then occasionally like, you know, a Colleen Ballinger apology video that went poorly or whatever, right? It's a bunch of people that are constantly trying to drag him down. Like all of these people are farming him, and he can't tell. He can't notice it. It's become so impossible. I mean, these people get banned immediately in my community. If you come in here and you're like constantly talking about like, you should cover this, you should cover this. Oh my God, oh my God. And it's obvious that you're trying to get me riled up. You get banned immediately because you're not here to enjoy content. You're here to watch my dissent. And he just doesn't know that that's what's happening in this Discord or in this subreddit. The people that post in here treat him, not everyone. I'm sure that there are some that are like relatively normal. You should play League. Yeah, that's why the chatters that come in here and say, Denim, you should play League. I'm like, you're instant ban. I know what you're trying to do to me. You're trying to make me mentally ill. I can see you. I fucking see you for what you are. You want me to be like Ludwig, where I stream it for like 30 days, and by the end of it, there's that really funny clip where my real voice comes out, and it's a chipmunk voice, and then I lose no LP, but I gain no LP, and I'm exactly where I started. I gain 100 LP after a month of suffering. I know what you are. I know what you are. You are not welcome here. I know what you're trying to do to me. You're trying to use me for land development. But it's because for them, it's funny. For them, it's funny to watch like Ethan lose his mind on his show and then have to press the button a bunch. They are laughing at me and Mike and Tassan and whatever, Ian, as much, honestly, less than the amount that they're laughing at Ethan. And it's sad. It's like, and he just doesn't know. He literally doesn't understand. He doesn't understand that like these posters, which by the way, if half of them, if you go to their page, either it's a fresh account, totally clean, everything's been wiped, or it's cross-posting to Destiny, our sex Pestiny, over and over and over and over again. And that's the only two subreddits that they're posting in. And livestream fails, let's be fair. And it's like, dude, these people are not here for you. They're not here because they like your show. They're not here because they think you're funny. They're here because they want you to stay in this hellhole. I actually feel really bad for Ethan. Ethan suspects that he's very compulsive, has trouble interpreting how he's being treated. Then he has all these people making him say impulsive things, making him feel attacked. And then he gets genuine criticisms and think it's another attack on his character. He's in constant defense mechanism of attack. I think he just needs to detox TBH and actually sit down and understand that everyone is just a person and the internet is its own. I mean, listen, man. I said it earlier. He could have used this, and I think he still can. I think it's still salvageable. He can use this right now as an opportunity to squash beef with everyone who has had a problem with him. Right now. He could do it. He could still do it now. And it would be amazing content. Oh my God. It would be amazing content. Bringing on a new guest every week that like people feel very strongly about. And he would purge his community from these freaks that are using him as a lolcow. Because all those people are like, oh wait, he's using his brain. This is boring. I'm leaving.
Even if it's kind of like a work friend, you don't want them to think wrong things about you that results in them hating you, you know? But also because Ethan is talking shit online, which...
Sorry, I want to see this. It's exactly what you're talking about. Check my previous message. I personally have a friend that was a bigger fan of H3 than me, and he purposefully posts stuff on the subreddit to make Ethan crash out more. He hates Ethan, enjoys watching him freak out. The fact that a random nobody has that much power over him is insane. Who would go after all this? Dude, after all the shit that he's slung my way, you think I want to sue him for defamation? You think I want to go through the fucking labor? I will if I have to, but I would much rather just squash the fucking beef, dude. But I've said it. I mean, I gave him that opportunity on day one. On day one. On the first disagreement that we ever had, I was like, yeah, I think I sent an email and I was like, I'd be down to get on the show and like talk. I'd be more than happy to get on a call and talk about what you felt like I was attacking you for the Nuremberg thing and explain to you my perspective. And you could explain to me your perspective. This was ages ago, but he's not interested. Again, I am always down. Chat, you will never see me decline a conversation with someone. Except for like Nazis. I'm not talking to Nick Fuentes, okay? All right, that guy, all right. Some people. Nick Fuentes is one such case. All right? Probably Aiden Ross, right? Some people, yeah, I don't if you are knowingly pushing and like Nick Fuentes is a full-blown Nazi. He is knowingly pushing Nazi propaganda. I'm not going to talk to you. But if I think that you're like there's something there, there's something to be salvaged there, I don't think Ethan is a Nazi. I think if you think Ethan is a Nazi, I think you might have lost the plot. I think he pushes a lot of rhetoric for Israel that's really bad. That makes people say, like Noah Samson, you are backing a genocide. I think talking about how Israel has to defend itself within the context of the anti-Hamas protests in Gaza and then saying X, Y, and Z, this is what's provoking Israel. Like that's... When you do only that and you spend no time talking about the civilians that have been murdered in Israeli prisons, I call them civilians here because there are people who have not been charged with a crime, who have no trial date, who have no expected release date, and they've been in there for years. And these people are being literally R-worded to death. Like, you don't spend any time talking about that, and you're always talking about how Israel's allowed to be... Israel is being provoked, so they have to act this way. Like, fuck. 3 of the 5 top posts are from users that come from you can guess which subreddit / community. Again, like, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Moving on. Wait, sorry, last thing. Also, why I defended the crew for a very long time. They're the only people that could reach him. I would be happy to apologize to any of them if they could get him to stop this, but I'm not going to let him attack me without forming him. I mean, yeah, that's the other thing. It's like, he's lied about me so much. He's called me a bitch a bunch of times, which I don't really care about. I think I'm brain rotted. I think it's pretty funny. I think it's pretty funny. I think this timeline is insane. You know, like in Steins Gate where they jump world lines? I feel like I jumped like 7 world lines. The timeline where like Trump wins and Elon is in like, basically Elon is POTUS and they're just like stripping everybody of rights and free speech is illegal. And I'm in an iDubbz content comp video. And the thought of me makes Ethan Klein pissed. What's happening? We're on a completely different world line. This is not the one I started on. This is not the one I started on. This is an alternate universe I was teleported to. But I mean, like, this is also the reason why, again, I also keep staff out of it. Okay, Dan is the one exception to the rule because he participates heavily. Even with everything that AB and Olivia, I think, have stood by and they've just sort of sat silently, I still feel bad for them. Like, I still do. I get that that's not an opinion that other people are going to share, and I think it's fair that other people are not going to share that. And I think at this point, there is some complicit behavior. But the reality is just like, fuck, man, I see that shit and I know how that, I can imagine how that feels. And I know it doesn't feel good to be in that position. Dude, like, think about AB. I've never spoken to AB. This is another thing, by the way. The Content Cop video leaked or whatever that, like, me and Olivia are mutuals. Me and AB are mutuals. I have had the thought so many times to message them and tell them, like, hey, I'm sorry about everything that's happening. Like, sorry that you get dragged into all this stuff. And every single time I stop myself because I don't want to make their life harder. I want them to be able to disavow me on the show and like shit on me without feeling bad and feeling guilty. Like, their life is already so hard. If they want to shit on me, they can do it. I don't care. I know what their experience is like. I can imagine it. and I don't want to make their life harder because then they have to like explain to their boss why they're talking to me. And I know the opinion. It's like, so leave. Yeah. And then like go. And then go where? I agree with you. That's the thing that sucks, right? I agree. They should quit. They should quit. They shouldn't be in that environment. They should quit. But I also recognize, like, dude, if you're like AB, you got Arab parents, and I know Arab parents. I had Arab parents. And you go into entertainment, that is an uphill battle, especially if you left med school or law school. The second your career ends and you go back to working a normal job, you will never live that down with your family. And I just like think about that with AB, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Shit, dude. That is such a fucked position to be in. Man. But like, again, I'm not going to get into this over and over and over again. I'm not going to get into it over and over again. I'm just like going to sit back and just hope that eventually they leave or that Ethan becomes normal. And Ethan, Giardia, whoever's watching this, I'm always down to talk. I've always been down to talk. It's you that doesn't want to because you have decided that I am the enemy. I got a message from a friend. Sorry. My friends make me so happy. I feel so fucking lucky that I have such amazing friends. They're so cool. Sorry. I'm gonna like cry. I just gotta say it sweet. Sorry. Ew. Cringe. Ew. Loving your friends and them loving you. What are you, gay? Ugh. Disgusting. Gross. How could you be so happy with your friends? Ew. But that's what I mean. Like, I get sad thinking about Ethan. I get sad for him. And this is like, but this is exactly why Ian, there were so many stylistic decisions that Ian made in his video. I remember even thinking initially like, man, putting us in the video is like kind of a really bold move, right? Because a lot of people who, you know, ideologues are going to be like, how could you bring on these people? This basically negates everything you said in the video because you brought on these people. And I remember sort of talking about this a little bit with him and being like, you know, I do think a lot of people will write it off because of this. And his position was basically like, that's sort of the point. I can't really, first of all, it's in Content Cop's style to do that. But also, you can't address Ethan without addressing all of these other things. And he needs to be able to see these things, address them, to get past them. You can't just address Ethan without addressing all of the shit that he gets into, especially when like a big part of why they even got involved in this is because Ian and Anissa were asked to disavow me and to make a statement against me and be like, we condemn Denims, which on its own is already like fucking crazy. Because their crime is that they're friends with me. Like, oh, fuck, dude. And that's why I think, like, there's been so many decisions that have been made in the Content Cop that I initially was, like, shaky on. Kirk Honda being one of them, where I was like, you're going to put this guy in, you're going to put the fact that he didn't issue the apology, and then you're going to put in, or sorry, he didn't retract the apology and change the grade. And then you're going to put us saying nice things. Is this really the path you want to take? Hey, it's your video. I don't want to tell you how to make your video. You're obviously a great content creator. Obviously, you can make YouTube videos. And so I remember thinking that, and I remember thinking, I wonder how this will play out. And now I'm like, wow, like the video really did what it was supposed to. Like it forced everyone to be empathetic to Ethan Klein one more time, just to be let down again. Just to be let down one more time. Because I think it's important that you always have like 1% of your brain that's concerned that you're wrong. And so there's always 1% of my brain that is like, am I wrong about this? And with this one, I was like, are we the bat? Like, have we been harassing him and bullying him in a way that's been unfair, in a way that hasn't been reciprocal? Have we ever attacked first? And I'm looking at him like, no. He's definitely attacked first every time. He's definitely been the provoker. He's definitely been the one that's made more defamatory statements towards all of us. With that said, he is obviously hurting. I'm willing to be an adult. I'm willing to move past everything, even the fact that he has been on a huge defamation attack and smear campaign against me. Okay. And then guess what? He sees like all of our statements are genuine statements, and he sees that the point of bringing this guy on was like, Kirk, bringing him on was to make him reevaluate his perspective. And what does he say? He doesn't even address what I say.
I have challenged some of his most powerful...
And this is scripted. This is, they went home, they took a day off, they watched the video, they prepared, and then the video drops on Wednesday. They spend all of Thursday preparing, and then on Friday they react.
Haters to put down the haterade and just say something nice and charitable about him, because I think he deserves it.
I just want to...
Now, before we watch it, he's being serious. He genuinely thinks that he's doing something nice here.
Yeah. To say that I respect that you are genuinely yourself on the internet.
Let me genuinely tell you as myself to go fuck yourself. You are evil, hateful, spiteful goblin, and I despise
Say, bitch, say it. Come on. You want to say it.
everything about you.
Aw.
Okay?
Don't hold your punches, Ethan.
So shove it up your ass, weirdo. Who even participated in this? Who even agreed to do this? Stupid.
I think a lot of... In response to hearing nice things about himself, he gets mad. He's mad about it. Yeah, you know what? From the bottom of my heart, fuck you. You're an evil bitch, okay? Why would you agree to do this? He literally cannot understand why we would go out of our way, we would put aside our feelings to say something nice. Other people respect you for it as well. I think that's a big reason why people were drawn to your content in the first place. I think that's a lot of the reason why your employees chose to work with you.
Hold on, I thought it was a hellscape.
Or anyone else. Chose to work for you is why they chose to work for you in the first place. I think it's a hellscape now. I think it's a shit show now. I think it's a mess. Oh my God. But I mean, I think they chose in the first place when they started working with you because you weren't a freak back then. You weren't, well, you were still always like a bit of a goblin, but you weren't like this deranged, I think. So I am glad. I am glad that he put Kirk Honda in the video. I am glad that he made us all reevaluate a little bit more. Like how, oh dude, oh fucking. See, dude, this is why I'm trying to be polite. This is why I'm not trying to be mean. This is why I'm trying not to be an asshole in chat. And you guys all there, like, take some notes as well. Look, this guy said, I'll take a peek at that now. He left for the full duration of the video and then said, from your video, yeah, the claim you called CBS is simply untrue. I think the conversation then shifts to a different topic, which is how responsible as creators are for their audiences. I don't agree with Ethan doubling down on going after random people on his podcast. I think it's irresponsible to create an environment where that's okay. I also think it's very hypocritical for him to complain about the potential of people in your audience calling CPS while at the same time sticking his hounds onto people he doesn't like. As I previously said, I don't have a horse in this race. I watch Germa. Base Germa viewer. This isn't growth, chat. This is just someone who didn't see my video because Ethan doesn't show my video. It's just a base Germa viewer, dude. It's just a based... I like how Germa is the thing that unites all people. I remember the good old days, watching him in Stir. I was so lucky, chat, that one of my first experiences in the FPS community... Okay, please forgive me for a moment, but I was a Tumblr girly. And a friend of mine, when they introduced DMs on that shithole website, was like, hey, do you like TF2? I was like, yeah. I mean, I like the stories and stuff. And she's like, do you want to play on my server with my friends? I was like, okay. And so I started playing on this server, on their server. And I had never played an FPS game before. I was just a baby teenager. And I like didn't understand like how to move a character on the fucking mouse and keyboard. I was just a kid. And they were all so polite. They all used obviously voice or whatever. And they all knew. I was just playing Medic when I started because I didn't understand. I like literally had never played an FPS game on a mouse and keyboard before. And they knew that I would be playing Medic, so they just like wouldn't attack me when they would see me. And they were just like goofing around, gobbling around. I didn't have a mic because obviously I'm like a 12-year-old. And I'm like, I don't want to talk on the internet. And I put in like thousands of hours into that game. Thousands. And then it was so funny. Like my brain went from, okay, I think I got the medic thing down. My next thought was, I'm going to play sniper. Which is just like, by the way, a crazy jump here. But I remember at peak, which like, what an amazing experience that was. That I got to be on a server that didn't have people screaming slurs all the time, where there were lots of men and women in there. Everyone was normal. Everyone was having fun. How lucky am I that I've heard other people's horror stories where they're like, yeah, I joined Xbox Live. That wasn't fun. That was my first FPS games were on Xbox Live. I was like, I'm sorry you had to deal with that. But that's how I found out about Germa and Stir and stuff. So really Germa is the one that brings all of us together. Base Germa. Also, man, as someone who's had the privilege of meeting Germa in real life, that guy is so fucking cool. He is so like humble and like down to earth. I think that was like the moment I was blessed by the universe. Like God himself was like, your life will be good now. Like actually, it's such a good indicator, by the way, when you meet other content creators. There are some content creators that are so full of themselves, they literally won't even look you in the eyes when you're talking. And then they'll walk off in the middle of your sentence. It's like, it's very crazy. It's like they think that they're the shit. It's like, bitch, if you went on a red carpet, nobody would know who you are. I don't know why you're acting like this. You play video games on the internet. Calm your ass down. And then there are some creators who like, they don't even know who you are at all. And they will give you full attention. They'll be like they look at you very genuinely and they aren't distracted and they're giving you 100% of their effort and 100% of their time. And they're like, oh, that's really cool. Yeah. I mean, what do you know, what's that? It's so cool. And that is literally Germa to a T, by the way. Just, he's such a cool person. It's so cool when you get to meet someone who you like on the internet and the meme of like, don't meet your heroes. It's wrong. It's like, feels good, man. Feels okay, man. Anyways, okay, sorry. Moving on. Let's try and get, are you like that? I don't think so, because I've read Twitter posts where people tag me and then they recount stories I don't remember. Because I had to talk to so many people and I had like 2 drinks, the perfect amount. And I was so tired. I've seen like tweets before where it's like, I'm not even joking, where it's like, oh my God, I saw Denims and then she ran over and hugged me like she knew me. And then we had a great conversation and man, a good day to be a Denims viewer. And I'm like, that happened yesterday? I don't even remember this. Okay. I don't remember this. Well, I guess that's good. You don't understand, chat. I love people. I am the opposite of a misanthrope. I think there's no point in living if there are no people around. Like, people are the best thing about being alive. They are. You're not going to change my mind on that perspective. You're not. I will die an optimist. I'm sorry. But sorry to get on so many tangents. Jeez. Not true. Once I saw Denims in a grocery store in Los Angeles yesterday, I told her how cool it is to meet her in person, but I didn't want to be a douchebag and bother her for photos. So I said, stupid copy pasta.
Isn't, they already have enough haters and enough harassment and bullies. They don't, to add to that isn't very happy to think about. So this is him describing it in a more, calm, long manner than he would do in a content video or a content cop.
And makes me feel like qualified.
Also, thank you. It's Real Sugar. Sorry, I pulled this chat log up and then I forgot to respond. But
to talk to him about it, because I feel super empathetic, specifically to the
This is amazing. Oh my God, this is beautiful. Sorry, for mobile viewers or listeners, I'm pulling up a fan art that someone made of me looking like a demon. Oh my God, this is beautiful. I love you. Gigantio? Gigantio? Art, thank you for this. I will cherish it for the rest of my life. Guys, please go like this post. Please.
The like to that feeling that everyone is an enemy. I had that feeling very much after my apology.
With the hair. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna say. We're gonna try and get through as much of this video as we can.
There were loads of people who were.
And I am just so happy. I'm sad that Ian had to go through this, but this was part of the change. And this is the part of the change for everybody, me included. When we go through things or someone close to us is going through things, it gives us a better chance to really feel what it's like to go through that thing. Then when someone else is going through that thing, we have a much greater chance of having empathy for that person. And until that happens, it is hard to have empathy for someone else. Not because we lack empathy, but because it is lost on us why someone is having a reaction that they're having. And Ethan, at least from my understanding, isn't crying on his podcast. He's not talking about the pain and the fear and the terror that he's going through. He's exhibiting the anger, and Ian sees that and understands what's beneath it. And initially was reaching out, even though Ethan was publicly saying horrible things and causing a lot of Ethan's fans to go after Ian and Anissa. What Ian initially felt was empathy, because he had been through that himself. And so that resulted in him seeing Ethan in a compassionate light at first. And so he reached out, gave him the benefit of the doubt. Even though Ethan was giving Ian no reason to do that publicly, the assumption was there because of a common humanity that's understood. And so Ian, and I believe him, and Anissa would talk about this too, that he, behind closed doors, meaning not on the air, it wasn't like he tweeted, "Hey, Ethan, let's talk," as a public showing of goodwill. He texted him off air, if you will. And Ethan still refused to talk with him, right? Which was hurtful and was aggravating, right? Then you feel like you have no power, you have no voice. And then so Ian dusted off his content cop outfit and said, well, I do have access to a voice, and I'm going to use it since I have no other recourse here.
And make you feel like, there's no winning.
Well, I remember people reacting to your apology video were saying that you were grifting or something, that it was all a lie, and you were trying to trick the audience so that you could.
Like, by the way, what a stupid grift, by the way. Just like going woke online as if that's ever worked ever. I can't think of a single instance of a content creator who used to be heavily have a heavy right-wing audience that's moved left-wing as a grift and it's worked.
I don't know what you'd be tricking the audience, because it wasn't necessarily a good career move. You know what I mean?
No.
This guy is well-spoken. I'm pretty sure this guy is a professor and a registered either psychiatrist or therapist or psychologist, which are different things, but still.
No, it's been actually terrible.
Why did he delete this? I mean, I've never spoken to him, so I don't know exactly why, but I would guess that it's been because of the stories that Ethan has been making on his Instagram and about the comments that he's been getting, that some of which have said, "This is disgusting behavior from a doctor. I was borderline considering reporting this to the Washington Medical Commission."
Horrible for me in making money.
We've talked about that.
It's only gotten worse.
Yeah, but, it's easier to sleep at night, I hope.
Yeah.
And you're clawing back,
Yeah.
and then other people are saying Anissa is pulling all the strings and you're pussy whipped or whatever.
Totally.
And it's just like,
not that I'm totally pussy whipped, but they're totally saying that I'm pussy whipped.
Yeah. I think it's kind of romantic to be a little pussy whipped now and then, a little mutual heterosexual pussy dick whip, both ways.
Dick whipped.
That pussy dick whip reciprocation or mutual whipping became a theme throughout our 3-hour conversation and after. So I guess that's where it started.
I mean, you have to understand that the term pussy whipped comes from people who usually don't understand what concessions look like in a relationship. right? Where, you know, sometimes you do things that you don't really want to do for the benefit of the other person. And sometimes they do things that they don't really want to do for the benefit of the other person. It's just basic compromise. But nobody ever calls it like the term dick whipping isn't a thing, right? It's only ever referred to like men doing too much for their woman, because women are allowed to be submissive, and it's a good thing actually, according to like the fucking manosphere freaks. But you, as a man, are never allowed to concede to your wife and do things for your wife. It's pathetic. It's a loser opinion for losers.
Myself, like this, it's so hard for me on my podcast to like loosen up. It's incredibly hard. And to also then make jokes and be funny. I talked about it in my apology. Like, I am so insecure about my ability to entertain. I think he feels the same, to be honest. I don't think he said as much. But I feel like, to me, it's pretty obvious by how often he, like, says crazy, fucked up shit. And then also, like, looks to his producers and employees to be like, was that, like, a bad thing? Should I button that? Or... like, no one's laughing. Like, what, you know, was that funny or not funny?
So we're towards the ending of our 3-hour conversation. And at this point, I've heard a lot of the background and we've had a lot of back and forth. And Nisa has also been a big part of the conversation. And as he was approaching his thesis or stating his thesis that he would eventually have in his content comp video, or at least an earlier version of it, I was both curious about what his conceptualization is as to why Ethan would refuse to change or, you know, not be self-reflective or to not exhibit empathy. I was curious about that, but I also was asking a question that I often will ask my students, actually, in that they'll talk about a client and they'll say, oh, you know, this client, or maybe more commonly, I'll have a student or a trainee or a supervisee or a consultee who will be talking about a client's partner, right? So my student is saying, yeah, so I have this client and she's talking about her husband and about how much of a jerk face her husband is. And if it seems appropriate to ask or helpful to ask, I might ask a very similar question. Instead of just rolling past that the way we typically do, where we're just like, oh, that guy must be a jerk face, I ask my therapist, and it's their job to think about this, whether they have an answer for it or not, but it's incredibly important to have a conceptualization. So I'll ask a conceptualization question. Why do you think the husband does that? You don't have the husband as a client, but hearing through your client, the husband's behavior, what is your initial or what is your hypothesis as to why that would happen? Because if we just go with a typical human or societal response, then it's just writing the guy off as a jerk face, as evil or something, instead of doing the work. And it's hard. And without training, it's almost impossible. You know, lay people aren't trained in this way. Most therapists are barely trained in this way. I would have to do a lot of work with students by the time they got to me, not to denigrate other professors, but there's just not enough time in graduate school, honestly. And so I asked him that question, like, okay, so you've laid out a very strong argument that Ethan has changed and that he is being more of a jerk face now than he was before and more toxic, and there doesn't seem to be any guardrails. And you've laid out some of the details about that, the button, the yes men, the absorbing the snark subreddit, that kind of stuff.
Okay, I know that people usually get upset when they've been banned. But just in case you're not mad, which I'm hoping that you're not because you got banned for saying, ever seen Ian's podcast more boring than watching Painter? I say what you want about Ian being edgy, but he hasn't made any decent content for years trying to do the whole my growth and maturity grift. The reality is, like, there are two types of content that people make. One, content creators who are successful make two types of content. The first type of content is content that they want to perform well, that they put a lot of effort in, that they want people to like and enjoy. They want to get viewers on it. And then the second type of content is content that they make for fun, for their personal entertainment, for their personal fulfillment. When I stream video games, I'm not doing it because I want to get a lot of viewership. I'm not doing it because I'm trying to entertain anyone. I'm doing it because I want to play some video games. When I do this show, I'm doing that because I want you guys to have fun. I'm putting more effort into making sure that you guys have fun than making sure that I have fun. You stream games? Yeah, on my alt channel. He's talked about his podcast. He doesn't care that his podcast doesn't get views. He doesn't do his podcast for viewers. He doesn't do his podcast for work. He doesn't care if people like the podcast or not. It's also like, it could just not be for you. If you don't like it, that's it. It's just like, maybe it's just not for you. Maybe it's for somebody else. But more importantly, have you genuinely, I'm not like making fun of you. I'm not trying to insult you. I'm asking you genuinely. Have you watched his videos on his channel on iDubbz? on the official iDubbz video. Because he's got good videos in my opinion. I think he's got good videos, but maybe you just haven't watched the videos. Like the excellent meme Mr. President one, I thought was very good. I thought the Your Body, My Birth Vessel one was very good. I thought that they were funny. I thought that they hit hard. I thought that they went over everything in a way that was informative, but also not boring. But I think a lot of people just haven't seen the videos, and that's why they haven't watched them. Because I will tell you, I have normie friends, and they watched the Content Cop video because they were like, what the fuck? Ian is making videos still? Sorry, iDubbz is still making videos? I didn't even know this. So they just, like, this has never been recommended in their feed. Also, yeah, Bad Unboxing is back as well. I never watched any Bad Unboxing videos, but yeah, you can, maybe you haven't seen it. I'm saying this very genuinely. If you haven't seen them, you should watch them and give me your opinion. If you don't like these and you think these are still bad, then like, okay. But the podcast was never meant to be funny, right?
Why would he do that? What do you
Is this
think?
podcast on his main channel? No, their podcast is called like Max Destruction. Yeah, I'm a fake fan. I don't even know the name of their. I don't watch any podcasts. I don't watch podcasts. Like not on principle. I don't listen to podcasts. I've never listened to podcasts.
Think the reason is
Maximum Damage.
And so what that provoked in Ian, because he takes that question to heart, I'll give him credit for that for sure, is to find a pathway. And often a pathway is through looking to yourself as a pathway to empathy, right? So he, as we just saw, Ian's like, well, I can kind of relate because I've been there and I know what can happen to you and that insecurity. And I just wanted to point that out as an element of something. I didn't notice it at the time because I'm not conscious necessarily of that. Again, I'm actually curious as to what he would say. But I'm also always trying to promote the notion, even in my casual conversations, that there's a question there. We might not know the answer, but most people have a logical reason as to why they would be hurtful or harmful or even abusive. It doesn't justify it at all, but it explains it and gives us something to work on. If we can change the factors that lead to the problematic behavior, then we can stop the problematic behavior.
And he's
Agree. I'm a psychologist. I can never be angry with anyone because sometimes I realize where their behavior comes from. It's incredibly frustrating sometimes. Yeah. Which is like, it's insane how the Kirk Honda part of the video, I mean, it was so effective. It was so effective. I think it was. His Content Cop on Ethan was decent. The rest of his newer studs were just Reddit-tier slop. Bad Unboxing is the epitome of boring. Old Bad Unboxing, send me random shit and I'll open it. New Bad Unboxing, send me a link to an Amazon store. Make sure it's nothing mean and funny. Really, the whole point is gone. Like I said, I can't comment on the unboxings. Have you seen? So I can't say that the unboxings are good. Have you seen the other ones? I'm like not trying to shit on you. I'm like being genuine. Have you seen the excellent me, Mr. President one, or the Your Body, My Birth Vessel? Have you seen this one? Because like I liked them. If you didn't like those, I mean, okay, sure.
Oftentimes like very concerned with that. Like he's looking for the feedback. I think it would probably be good for him to do stand-up or something, an open mic, to actually get an idea or get more in touch with what makes him funny. Because that's something that I like. That's going to be probably a constant journey for me, is figuring out what makes me funny or what people like about me or my content. So I just want that for him.
Okay. Did you just touch on something inside of you right now?
Yeah, I think
What
so.
was that?
Oh,
Oh, dude, I can't watch this. I'm gonna like cry if I watch this part.
Yeah, I've just seen. It's frustrating because
Yeah, it brings a tear to my. I mean, just you sense the pain, right? You feel the anguish. It's deep. This is deep. You know, I noticed a couple times, including that time, that he was tearing up as he would, I think, recall what he had been through himself, which has a lot of complicated feelings. The hurt of the harassment, the deep shame that I know that he feels. I was really surprised that he included a bit of this in the epilogue of his video. And it really makes me wonder, if I wasn't involved, how the video would have ended. Because I actually asked him if I don't know if I've mentioned this already, but I asked him if I hadn't responded the way that I had, how would the video have ended differently? And he said, oh, absolutely. In fact, what did he say here? And again, he's cool with me saying all this stuff. I've asked him. I was texting him saying, I had no idea how important I was to the ending of your content cop video. If I had known, I would have been more careful in the way that I refused to change my grade. And then Ian replied and said, you play a really important role in the video. It made me rethink the whole ending, to be honest. And it led to me deciding to get those creators to send me nice comments. So I feel good about that because I like the way it ended, absolutely. But I feel bad about inconveniencing a fellow content provider in that way. So anyway, I also want to provide this for the main reason why I want to make, or one of the main reasons why I want to make this video is that I would imagine that, especially in the past, you would not imagine, if you did watch iDubbz videos or even knew of him and maybe even disliked him, you would not necessarily know or think or imagine that he would be a normal human being with vulnerabilities. You know, one of the big reasons why I want to make this video is to demonstrate for audience members and for content providers that a thick skin.
I like that he calls them content providers. I like that term. I'm stealing that. I'm definitely stealing that shit. Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you heard something else. Ian has balls of steel being willing to share this. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and he knows people are going to clip it, which they did exactly that. And those people are getting clowned on. Denims, you are my Hulu. I am Hulu. Yes, I am a content provider.
Is a myth. No one has a thick skin. You can't protect yourself. What difference does it make if you're a content provider or not? You're a human being and you cannot protect yourself. No one can, from harassment and bullying and hatred. And we also understand that you can get 10 comments, 9 of which are positive, but 1 that's negative, and everyone focuses on that one negative thing.
Again, negativity bias, right? You have to actively fight that part of your brain.
Everyone understands that. Content providers understand that every day of their lives. And unless there's a management system that involves not reading every single comment, that involves therapy and perspective and telling the audience, one of the best things that I ever did over time, you know, because it sort of had a crescendo during the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial 3 years ago, I couldn't help myself but to tell people like how it was affecting me, the hatred that was coming my way. By telling my audience that, even people that didn't like me, I think it gave a lot of people the opportunity to understand and therefore have empathy and therefore take care, right?
Fuck. I've really tried hard to like control what I've been putting out online and like what I'm going to react to and you know, think about other people. And it was like, you know, at minimum like a full year of me like really questioning like everything I was putting out. And you know, I had some confidence at the start of that, but like every video I put out, I'd be like, oh shit, like the views aren't good. The comments aren't good. Like, I don't know. Like, it just kept getting worse and worse.
I mean, like, what he's talking about is these type of chatters. Not to blast your chatter, but you are you are the person that causes this response in content creators, right? Where like he just wants to make funny videos online, but he doesn't want to have an audience of people that think that he's transphobic, where he's at the point where trans people walk up to him and say, hey, I know you hate trans people, but can I get a picture? Like, and he has to see people that are like, I hate both Ian and Ethan. Ian mostly because he's done so many backflips and doesn't do good content anymore. And he's like trying his best to like make content that's funny, but he wants to stay true to himself, but he wants to give the people what they want. And he wants to be able to like reinvent himself and create content that he can be proud of, that he's not embarrassed to have around, but that people like. And it's like, it's hard. It's hard. Okay. It's hard. Especially when you know that it doesn't matter what you do. On some level, you're always going to get harassed, right? It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter who you are. You could be the sweetest peach. There's somebody that doesn't like peaches. I mean, even people like Lily Pichu get harassment. And they're like, your voice is fake. Obviously, your voice is not that high-pitched, right? Like, it's hard, but nobody owes him success. No, obviously not, right? But that's not what people are saying, right? That's a non sequitur, totally not relevant to this conversation. It's not about the success so much as it is about knowing that you're letting people down, about feeling bad, about knowing that you're letting people down. It's totally irrelevant about like your perspective on it and how you feel or what you comment or what you think is not the relevant aspect. It's the feeling like you're letting people down. It's an internal thing. It's not an external thing, right? And when you feel like you're letting people down because you're not making good stuff, because you're not proud of the shit that you put out, like it feels bad. I mean, I don't know, maybe you've like made art for someone, or maybe you've made a song for someone, or maybe you've put together a playlist for someone, or you worked on a gift for someone and they didn't like it. It feels bad. And it doesn't even feel bad because they didn't like it. Like they could have said, oh, it's good, thank you. But it wasn't what you wanted. And like you internalize that and it's hard. It's like, fuck. Why do I feel so bad about this? They weren't even mean about it. They don't need to like what I make. They don't need to like a gift. They should be happy I gave them a gift, but I spent so much time on it and I expected them to like it more and they didn't. And it feels so bad. He's just talking about like the very normal human response of like putting time into something and trying really hard and then feeling like you're still letting people down anyways.
And so,
you don't have to have an expectation that someone's going to like throw a party or whatever, right? But it feels bad. And that's all we're talking about, just the emotion.
now that I feel like it wasn't overnight, like me gaining my confidence back, and I'm still probably not all the way there, but like,
does he deserve to feel some amount of concern or pain, or does he deserve some consequence for the bigotry that he put out there? You can answer the question how you want to, but I would answer that question, yes. It is fair that he experience some level of consequence, and that consequence could cause him some level of pain and insecurity. And as he acknowledges it and apologizes for it, he also deserves love and an opportunity for redemption and care and acceptance of the new him. Both of those things can happen at the same time. People that are fans of iDubbz, even when he apologized, would say, you don't have to apologize. Don't do that to yourself. Haters of him would say, he's just faking it. Or in this moment, they might say, well, you deserve it, motherfucker, whatever. Both are true, and both have to be true if we're going to make the world a better place. If people are going to be invited to change and welcomed to change and attracted to change, then
I think the light might have died for it.
We have to have the approach of both. There are consequences and there is a path to redemption. And if you take that path, we will absolutely be there for you.
I feel like I have a much clearer idea because I didn't take like an easy route, or I didn't like fight back, or, you know, when I say easy route, I basically mean to say that I didn't go for the drama or the things that I know would get like views or attention.
Mm-hmm.
Because I am familiar with it, but I know that it's just going to lead me to the same kind of place.
Which was what?
Which is being unhappy and regretful.
Yeah. Regretting what?
Hurting people, just making like content that like didn't align with like my beliefs or principles.
So there it is, right? People can do bad things, very problematic things, hurtful things, post it on the internet, and do it over the span of months and years, and still be a good person. And how can that be? It happens all the time. Ethan, I assume the same thing is happening, but on a much larger scale.
And it's crazy. Again, like, I really can't get over the fact that this is a video that Ethan responded to with, "I find your new video about me to be extremely unprofessional." Man. I have to get off soon, so I don't want to. I want to be able to just watch the ending of this. Did he even watch the whole video? Who fucking knows, man? But I want to see like just the very ending.
We study this in my field. We call it secondary trauma or burnout or post-traumatic or
What's he showing?
They said a lot of the times, like, I actually wasn't even talking about that cast member on reality TV. I was talking about a hypothetical client or whatever. You know, I don't know. I feel I don't want to be inconvenient to anybody with someone attacking.
Wait.
So as I said at some point earlier in this video, I said I was going to end the video with someone attacking me because I was involved in the content cop video. And I'm not going to show their username or anything, but I wanted to show what love can do and how if we all participate.
This is a very nice message, Rico. Rico, I know your chat is large. Your puppy misses. I want to tell you very much appreciate all the time and everything you put in. Stop. The secret meme about chat streamers is that we actually see every single message. We see way more messages than you think we see. Kirk is being so nice. How did this hurt his feelings? I mean, because Ethan is currently at the point where his ego is so inflated, he thinks that unless you are giving him blind support, you're dead to him. I missed the segment. Can you start the video over? You guys are stupid. Shut the fuck up.
Participate in that, then we can all make the world a better place. Not only just a happy rainbow unicorn place, but a meaningfully better place for us and our kids and our grandkids in the world. I don't say that lightly. I'm not the one who invented this idea. It's not even originated from our era. This has been around for centuries. So take that. But as an example, I knew that being in the content video would result in me being attacked because I know the internet. I didn't know if it would be
yes, this VOD will be up. Don't worry.
Ian's fans or Ethan's fans or people that hate both of them, or I don't know, or just sometimes I realize that just being noticeable on the internet just attracts people that have issues, disturbed individuals, or people that are deeply, deeply unhappy and use bullying as a way to just get a little inkling of happiness or distraction from their own extremely miserable lives. But anyway, so I'm not going to dox this person or show their username or anything, but this person.
RHY nothing to say?
Nothing to say. Nothing. I don't know how you could come to this conclusion, chatter. People say a lot of shit. Mean comments online aren't always harassment. Sounds like Ian relied on an internet stranger for validation for too long. And when he doesn't get it, he spirals. Ian's basic problem seems to be that he treats random internet strangers like friends and gives them too much power. When his old audience didn't give him the validation for being mature and not hurting people, he took it personally. What? This is not about validation. This is about like shock, right? Huh? It's about like seeing that your fans are holding a mirror up to who you are as a person and you're disgusted with what you see.
Denims is streaming.
And you want to change. I'm not sure where you got any of this from. I mean, this isn't even what Ethan is, sorry, Ethan. It's not even what Ian has said about this. Ian has explicitly said that seeing someone think that he was transphobic and say, like, can I get a picture anyways? Seeing like the fans that he had was like holding a mirror up to himself and he didn't like what he saw and he wanted to change. This is, he absolutely was getting validated for what he was doing. The fact that if someone can think that you're a terrible person and still love you, if someone thinks that you're transphobic and they still love you so much, they're asking you for an autograph, that is the most validation you can have. That is the most validating thing that can happen to you. That your videos are so good and your content is so good that someone who thinks that you would hate them still wants your autograph. That would be one of the most validating things that you can receive. I use the term validation because the psychologist said they were talking about something different. They weren't talking about this. Those are like different terms. There's like self-validation about like that you feel like you're making something that's good and you feel like people are enjoying what you're doing, which currently he feels like he's not capable of providing this, but maybe the content cop has changed things. Before he felt very validated by the internet's love for him. The reason he shifted, this sentence doesn't make sense. When his old audience didn't give him validation for being mature and not hurting people, he took a person. This sentence, that's not what, you're not using validation in the correct way here. It doesn't apply in this sentence. It's that when his old audience was showing that they weren't mature, he was recognizing himself that he's not mature, and that's why he has these people. And that was like a negative experience. I think that the problem is like, I assume that you used to watch Ian's old content, and you like Ian's old content, and maybe you feel like, I'm guessing, I'm totally assuming, I could be wrong, that you think that he disavows you as a viewer, but I don't think that that's what he thinks. I think his problem has always been that there was content that he made that was maybe a little too far, and a few too many people genuinely believed everything that he said. So if you're one of the people that saw him say things that were absurd, that were edgy, and you were like, this is funny because it's so absurd, he's not talking about you. He's talking about the people who heard him say certain things and thought, yeah, this guy's racist like me. And those are the people that freaked him out. It's not the people who watched it and knew that he was obviously joking about everything and being absurdist in his joking, or absurdist in what he was talking about, right? If I make sexist jokes in here and I'm like, oh, my bitch wife is bothering me again, and then I meet somebody who's like, yeah, I beat my wife or something, I'd be like, oh my God, you got the wrong message from my stream. This is obviously an extreme example just to highlight the point. The point that I'm making is that he thought his content was absurd and that no one would experience it as anything other than absurd. So he kept going more and more and more off the edgy cliff, to the point where not just normal people who agreed with him on these things enjoyed it, but freaks started watching it too. This guy, 30K, low effort post, boo, boo, low effort posting, no low effort posting in here. Okay, try a little harder. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's I watched some when it was decent. Sorry, I watched some, it was decent. I'm a little too young to have been all in on classic Ian / YouTube content. When the old audience didn't appreciate his turn then, I mean, yeah, there's always going to be some people that don't appreciate it, right? But like, what can you do? It's better to stay true to yourself. If you make sexist jokes and it's funny, I'll laugh. I'm not going to sit and speculate whether you're a fellow sexist or get outraged. The Ian saga is peak example of paradoxical relation. So, okay, so you are one of the, okay, you should get this. I don't understand what's hard to understand here. Maybe I'm explained it poorly. I'll try again. You are the target audience when I make sexist jokes. When I make sexist jokes about women, which I do, where I say like, oh, my bitch wife, women, am I right? Oh, just shut the fuck up, whatever, blah, 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 blah. You are the target audience for that joke, where you understand I'm making a joke, it's absurd. Obviously, I don't think this. We can all look at this joke and know that it's funny and move on. Peak parasocial, not paradoxical. Got it. The problem is that I think you have like a blind spot on people who are not like you. This is a big reason why conversations about sexism are so difficult, and why people don't believe the rates that women get assaulted at. And it's because most dudes are normal dudes. Most dudes don't rape women. Most dudes don't sexually abuse women. Most dudes don't fucking sexually assault women. So when most dudes see comments or see these stats, they're like, what the fuck? This is not possible. Because you don't have any way of having seen the freaks in society. Because you haven't seen those people. Because obviously it's not like they're sexually assaulting you. That is a subset. that you are not privy to and is so absurd that you don't think it's even like, it doesn't seem real. Like, I'm sorry, objectively, the idea of like groping a random person on a train, everyone in here agrees. That's crazy. Like, that is one of the craziest things you can do in a society, in like a civilized society. You're sober. You're sober. You're not blackout drunk. You are sober. Although, just stick with me for a second. I'm not saying that suddenly assaulting people is okay if you're drunk. But you get the idea. You are fully sober and you're like, I'm going to now grope someone I don't know. Like, that on its own is insane. Like, we all agree with that. And it's so insane that I can understand being a dude and being like, there's no way that this happens that often. There's no way. This is too crazy. What type of sick fuck is doing that? This has to be a really small number of people. And then you talk to women and like every woman who's ridden on a train before has gotten groped. And you're like, what? What? Huh? How is this possible? It's the same thing happening here, where if Ian, old Ian, makes a joke, an edgy racist joke, and you're not racist, and you don't think like your race makes up any, there's no race realism in your brain. And then you, like, I'm genuinely in awe that people are actually homophobic, that people are actually actually racist. Or India. I mean, you don't have to even go to India, right? Right. I was born and raised in New York. I'm telling you, it happens in New York.
Is streaming.
Like, you don't even have to bring up other countries. This is a problem across the world. Any place that has public transport. Any place that has public transport. I'm telling you. And I mean it genuinely. Talk to a woman who's lived in a city that's had public transport, that she's ridden all her life, and she will tell you it's happened. I'm not like trying to meme or joke or anything like that or over exaggerate. I'm being very for real right now. The thing is that when you're a normal person, the idea of other crazy people existing is too absurd. It's too absurd of a notion. Wait, you were saying that like it happens in Japan, right? Not the other way around? You were saying that it happens in Japan. Yes. Okay. They had to be. Yeah, that's what they were saying. My point is, when he used to make edgy jokes, he didn't expect people to actually believe that shit. When you say like, I'm not going to sit around and speculate whether you're a fellow sexist or get outraged. It's not about that. It's about him going out in the world, having his fucking freak fans run up to him and be weird. And tell him, can you imagine someone running up to you? Can you imagine you make content, you're a content creator, you make funny jokes, and someone walks up to you and says, a fan of yours walks up to you and says, I know you hate black people, but like, I'm such a fan. Like, can we get a picture? And you're like, no, I know. You want to call us all N-words and all this other stuff. I know, I get it. You think that black people should be X and Y. You'd be like, what? No. What the hell? No. What the fuck are you talking about? Jesus. And this happens again and again and again and again. And you're like, why do people not understand that I'm making absurd jokes? What the fuck is going on? I don't want this interaction. I don't want to run into these people in the real world. Remember that experience where like those kids were talking crazy shit to Sneeko and he was confused? I mean it genuinely. Like, can you just like really try and imagine if this was you? Sneeko, kids, sexist, should be like the first one, right?
Fuck the woman! What? All gangsters die!
Can you imagine these just really put yourself in this guy's shoes? Put yourself in Sneeko's shoes. Put yourself in the cuck chair. Okay, sorry, that last one was too far. And a kid walks up to you and says, all gays should die.
Fuck the woman, fuck the woman. What? All gays should die.
What have I done?
How stupid can
I mean this seriously. I'm not saying it rhetorically. I mean genuinely. Put yourself in that guy's shoes. You would reevaluate the content you make. You'd be like, clearly, I have done something wrong. This keeps happening to me. I have done something wrong. When little kids are running up to me and saying this. This is terrifying. This is crazy. What have I done? So the thing is, for a lot of people on the internet, they see this stuff and they're like, what the fuck do you have to apologize for? You didn't even do anything wrong, Ian. You made a couple of fucking edgy jokes. Big deal. Who cares? This apology tour you're doing is weird, but that's because you haven't seen it from his perspective. You haven't seen how many people have run up to him and been weird. You haven't seen how many teenagers have run up to him and been weird. You haven't seen how many comments he has to read from people that think that they're on the same page. Like, you haven't experienced the world from his perspective and had to get fucking traumatized in the street because kids are fucking saying crazy shit to you. And that's what makes you. So again, all of this is just about like the normal person versus the weird person brain. When you have a normal person brain, like a real normie brain, the idea of weirdos existing as a concept is so absurd, it seems impossible. It seems impossible. It's like, that's just not no. But dog, there are people that were eating or ingesting or however you're supposed to use ivermectin. There were people that thought bleach was going to cure their COVID. There are people who think vaccines don't work. There's a lot of psychos out there that just like media literacy is non-existent. I'm positing basically that if you were in his shoes, you would make the same shift and it would suck just as bad. And then you would have to look at your content and be like, what the fuck am I supposed to make now? I'm lost. I'm a boat without a sail. I can't go anywhere. I'm just kind of drifting, seeing what happens to me. And that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say, yeah, put the shoe on the other foot. If you're not a freak and you're a pretty normal person, consider what it would be like to have a bunch of weirdos walk up to you. Right? Content creators are responsible for what they put out is perceived. This has been a thing since forever. If you can't handle this, maybe live a life happy being at a gas station attendant or whatever. No, you should still try. What? I don't subscribe to defeatist mentalities. On principle. I think being a defeatist, having a defeatist mentality is a loser mentality for losers. I think you should try. I think I believe in being the anime main character, that you can save all your friends. That you don't have to pick and choose. When the villain in Spider-Man webs or puts two people, you can save everyone. You can save Mary Jane and the bus of screaming children. You can do both. You can stay true to yourself and make content that doesn't get perceived and create racist people or sexist people or whatever, and be funny. You can do it. Only the weak can't do it. Only the weak give up and say, oh, whatever, I'll just be a gas station attendant. Disagree. Fundamentally. It's about doing what doesn't cause you a crisis because you can't control other people. Impairs. No, I mean, it's literally you're quitting. This is like being in the middle of a marathon and being like, I don't know if I can make it, dude. I'm really fucking beat. Jesus. I'm still only like halfway through. Fuck. I'm just not going to do the rest of the marathon. You're quitting. You're giving up. You're saying, I can't do it. I can't make content that's funny. and doesn't cause these people to be my fans. Fundamentally, I disagree. You keep trying, and you keep trying to make content that's funny, that people like, that people laugh about, that doesn't attract weird people. Because I do agree that there's always going to be a small portion of people that you kind of can't control, but that number should be very small. Going through that a little bit now. Software engineer who got laid off. So hard to find a new job in the industry right now. Thinking of switching to a more normal job just because it's easier. It's hard out there. I mean, yeah. 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 Streamers wouldn't need to apologize if they were just based and empathetic all the time.
Casual is a great song. And then people were like, Unk doesn't know it's about eating pussy. And I'm like, literally, like, the third word in the song was like, eating your pussy. Like, of course I know it's about eating pussy. I've got ears, bitch. It's called being an empath. I've never had my pussy ate, but I could, like, imagine what it would feel like. Probably bonds you to the person that's doing the munching, I'd have to guess. Like, I'm a human being. I could put myself in those shoes at least. No wonder she's a little bit pissed off.
Every Northern Lion clip, dude. Every Northern Lion clip is so crazy, dude. Every single one. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. I don't know, man. Food for thought. Okay? Food for thought. I think he can do it. I believe in him. I think that he can change his content and change his ways and be a better version of himself and have better intentions and enjoy the shit that he puts out and be funny. I think he can do it. I mean, I'm sorry. Maybe my sense of humor isn't great, okay? Which I'll eat that. It's okay if my sense of humor isn't great, but I stand by the, this is still, dude.
React content yet, chat. I'm the same. Nobody's talking.
This
thing.
Ethan, the dumb bitch is telling you to wake up.
Wake up, Ethan. Wake up. Wake up, Ethan. Ethan, wake up. Wake up. Since anyone? Just wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Why does the sins anyone kept me every fucking time? Why does it have so many dislikes? No, this is wrong. The extension is incorrect. They've since posted, their editors have posted that the like ratio is like 85% to 15%. It's not the 50-50 that the extension seems to think that it is, but fucking YouTube removed likes to dislikes, which is annoying. What's the current view count? 5.6 mil, dude. Fucking good for them, dude. Fucking good for them. I'm happy for them. Anywho, guys, anywho. I think that was a really, I can't believe that, like, in this entire video, this Ethan's takeaway was that this was like an unfair video against him. I feel bad that he's getting harassed for it, man. It is what it is, but oh well. You know. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to get it through everything else. I know, getting through an hour and a half video is like fucking impossible. I think we watched an hour. Has Dems talked about other streamers' disgusting reaction to the content cop or the Frogan parts like Asman? Hassan mentioned, I don't know what he meant. Oh, yeah, I wanted to get to that. I wanted to get to that, but we didn't get a chance to. We'll do it tomorrow, because I do think that there is some conversation to be had that, like, dude, the harassment that Frogan gets, there's a reason it's worse than and it's worse by a lot than the harassment I get. There's a reason. Like, what she gets, the shit that she deals with is like at least 10 times worse than what I deal with. It's an intersection. It's not that the hijab is like this magical property that makes people dislike you or anything like that. Yes, this VOD will be up. This VOD will be up. Sorry about that, GP. It's that it's an intersection of a lot of things that people don't like, right? That in general online, in my experience, people hate women that yap a lot. I mean, people hate, in general on the internet, people hate opinionated people. Because there's this big like, caring about things is lame. You should never care about anything. Everything should just be jokes and you should just have fun. And if you care about anything ever, you're a loser. But unironically, that's what like a lot of people on the internet think. So they already hate opinionated people. And they doubly hate opinionated women because you're obviously dumb. You obviously don't know what you're talking about, etc. And that's why they never explain the things that they're wrong about or what they're dumb about or whatever. It's just, you're dumb, you're wrong, woman. And then add to that, like, the fuckability factor, for a lack of better words. And if they can imagine having sex with you, it's like, they'll write off your crimes or they might, like, reduce your sentence. Be like, well, you're hot. And they think that that's, like, harassment, but, like, they're thinking with their dicks, not their brains. And then add to that the fact that people hate people who are overweight. Like, our society is very fat phobic. Very, very fat phobic. And then add to that the Valley Girl accent that Froken absolutely has, which makes people mad beyond their fucking minds. They hate it. They absolutely hate it. And then add to that the hijab. It's like this intersection that's just fucked. That's just totally fucked. So, yeah. What's your fuckability factor as a straight woman? I don't really see it, Denims. I just work here, man. I just work here. I'll tell you, I'll let you know when I get a rating from Kirk Honda. That was a joke. That's just a joke. Sorry. I'm just trying my best here, man. Okay. I don't know. No, I just work here. Okay. Anywho, put the content in the bag, content provider. Exactly. That's what I am. My best friend. You are the rent payer. You are the legend. Thank you, Ethan Klein.